What it do on a Wednesday evening, hump day edition, Outlaw Radio, Ghetto Games tonight is the name of the show. I'm happy to be here. My name is Kevin Barnes. I am the militant with a microphone, the mouthpiece of the movement, aka the Negro Whisperer, also known as the world-class smartass. Welcome to Outlaw Radio, man. How y'all doing? 414 stand up, man. It's this 414 day. I guess I see people celebrating on Facebook, so I don't know. I'm not up on all of the intricacies of the shit, but it is what it is. Welcome to the show, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Outlaw Radio is going down. I am not alone. I am here with one of my co-hosts, the fact checker himself, Mr. Ian C. Jordan. Ian, what it do, man? How you doing this evening?
Man, I'm good. I was just flexing it to the camera, like we gonna take them on today. You know what I'm saying? The arms of justice. And it was 414 day yesterday, though. I think.
Okay, I didn't know when it was, or I didn't even know really what the significance of it is. I see there were some Adidas that people was going crazy about that had some stuff from the city on it. So I don't know. I'm so out of the loop, man. I'm so out of the loop. I am the epitome of an old ass man. I don't have no inkling.
I was gonna ask you, do you like customs, like custom shoes or whatever? Because I do, man. Like I got my custom Jordans. I'll be training in.
Okay.
They a gym favorite. Everybody be like, "Dog, where you get them?" I'm like, "Man, I had them made." I like custom stuff. Until I found out Louis Vuitton hate us, huh?
I'm not really into brands, period, like name brands and whatnot. And with shoes, I'm more on. I do something different with my shoes. I'm not really into sneakers like I used to be. More or less, I'm going to look for some tactical, man. I'm into tactical wear, so I'm gonna get some kind of tennis shoe boot hybrid.
I got one like that too, with the steel toe in it or whatever. I be wearing it when I be.
I don't go to the extreme of steel toes, but I'm going to try to find something that's tactical. I love tactical clothing, so I'm more into functional
you
clothing.
Michael McGee over there, dog. You got that mentality. I like it.
Yeah, I'm more into like cargo pants and stuff like that. And I'll go get hunting gear and fishing gear and sport it as every day. So I'm starting to now see some old Jordans from back in the days that we used to wear. That I'm thinking like I might just grab me a couple pair of them when I get some money on up. But I don't know, man. I'm not really into design or anything like clothes and stuff like that. You don't rarely see me with a logo on my clothing. I'm just not into it like that, like I used to. I'm more just plain Jane in the background. Yeah, man. I'm low key. I don't like to draw a lot of attention to myself. So yeah, those are some dope shoes though you showed. I mean,
I wear them in the gym. I don't wear them outside though. I wear them in the gym. I just like that. It's cool, man. I like them.
Every now and then you might catch me on some leather hustlers. That's how I roll. Like I still got hustlers, man. I'm still rocking like. You know what I'm saying? And in my neighborhood, we all wore Adidas. That you had to wear Adidas all the time. So I went back to the Adidas. I'm just low key, man. Just low key, dude. I'm not an attention seeker. You know what I'm saying? I don't even wear bright colors, right? I can't think of the last time I wore all red. I don't think I've ever worn yellow.
Damn.
I don't do like bright colors and shit, man. I'm just
you remind me of my cousin and my brother, dog. Them niggas the same way. He wear black every day. Like motherfuckers like who died? Like nobody. But you will if you keep pushing kind of shit. Like damn.
If I could, man. I swear, rest in peace to my brother Bear Meat, man. When I was young, he used to tease me to no end, especially in the summertime, because he's like, dude, you cannot wear black every day. Like he'd be early in the morning, he'd be like, dude, it's gonna be 95 degrees today. Don't bring your ass out the house in nothing black, right? Like, and so then he'd see me and I got on black.
He probably look at you like you crazy. My brother used to do that to me too. Like, dog, why you got that black sweatshirt on? Or it'd be like, dude, I wear sweatshirts here because I'd be on my way to the gym. So because I sweat, so I just be like, whatever, man. They be like, man, take a hoodie off. It's 90 degrees. I'm like, man, my car cold as hell. I don't care about that.
Black is my favorite color, man. So
me too.
Especially
black
as
and red.
I thought, and when we were young, and you seen the whole Al Davis thing and say bad guys wear black. I thought I always wanted to wear black. I thought it made me look like the coolest nigga in the world. So I'm still on that if I can. Although now I like earth tones. So
Oh yeah, Earth tone was
good
cool.
browns and tans and some mellow greens and stuff is cool for me. Not really a high fashion dude. Dion was in the chat room early. I see you, Dion. He said, "Where you at?" Well, I was sitting here waiting on the show to start because it was 10, 15 minutes before the time. So you were here early, Dion. Erica Hunt, she said, "What's up, Outlaws? How you doing, Erica?" Dion said, "What up? What's going on, man? How you doing this evening?" If y'all want to call in, the number scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's 262-202-5131, 262-202-5131. Cash App down there as well. And then if you want to get in the conversation virtually, we do have a chat room. Say what we're going to talk about tonight. Well, I said ghetto games. And the reason I come up with this is because I look at the conversations that are had in regards to our people nationally. Like I'm looking at this whole thing with black people. For some reason, my people, foundational black Americans, we've been having some back and forth for the Democratic Party lately. And I know it's always controversial because, people believe politically black people are attached at the hip to the Democratic Party. And for a long time, I believe we were to a certain degree. I know most of the black people in this country vote democratically in each election, right? And so there's some people who are of the belief that we need to abandon that and start to move more towards conservative thinking and the Republican Party. And then there's those like myself who don't believe that partisan politics is something that's going to move the needle forward for foundational black Americans. And so I was looking at Al Sharpton and his National Action Network. I guess they had an event, and there was a whole conversation centered around reparations and the need for black people to support Democratic candidates and demand that reparations be something that's um, prominent on any person who wants our vote. We should be demanding that they support reparations, or we should not vote for them. There was also the discussion of most of the older the generation before us that are activists, such as Al Sharpton and Roland Martin, and a lot of these brothers and sisters who are vocal now being too old to connect. And so Al Sharpton's response was kind of pointed, and they were saying that people felt like he was triggered or whatnot because he was saying, "Well, it's stupid. That's a stupid thing to say about let's demand reparations or we're going to withhold our vote." And he also stated that it was dumb um to even think that it's a question of age. So ghetto games, man. This is some shit that nobody cares about but us people in the hood. Like, nobody else is arguing about. First of all, the controversy around reparations is absolutely positively ridiculous when the precedent is set. It's been done before. The United States has, in fact, given reparations to people who have been wronged. And so, but when it comes to us, it's such a big issue. And there's a lot of black people who just swear that it will never happen. It's impossible to do. And so, it's a never-ending conversation. And I think we do more disservice to it than anyone else because it shouldn't be something that we leave up for debate. I think we should unilaterally agree that it's something that should be done very soon. And I'm of the mindset that you do tell politicians that if you don't give me what I want, you won't get my vote because my vote is what you want. People different opinions. So, it's things like that, man. And so, we have a lot of conversations in the mainstream media. We argue about who's a snitch and is snitching right, and people are still debating Gucci Mane and Pooh Shiesty and should he testify and he ain't no real gangster, and it's ghetto games, man. Nobody cares about that shit. Nobody cares about that bullshit, man. And so that's why we don't move forward at a faster clip because we do preoccupy ourselves with a lot of dumb shit, right? We keep our mind on a lot of stupid shit, man. And so shit that ain't gonna help nobody.
You you already know where I stand on this, KB. Without me even saying it, this is the dumbest shit ever, and I say it for this reason. Every I don't say every other race because I really don't like to generalize. There have been so many other groups that have gotten reparations. It's a complete, as my white friends like to say, it's a mind fuck. I don't understand why with us it's always a problem. But it goes back to like how I teach my children, my three kids. My oldest, her and her husband had my grandbaby about 9 months ago. You got my daughter who's in college right now. And you got my son who's 9 years old, and he made the robotics team, and that's a 12-year-old thing. So he's very proud of himself. So what I instill in my children, on his day off, my 9-year-old was watching videos of Malcolm X. Me and his mother don't agree, but it is what it is. So long story short, in regard to just when it comes to us, it just ties back to just people just think that niggas complain. People think that, oh man, these niggas lazy. These niggas complain because all you see in a lot of media outlets, and the most recent major person that consistently had negative things to say about African Americans, Black people, FBA, is Charlie Kirk. And him misquoting statistics intentionally, going to all white universities to make us quote unquote look bad, it resonated with a lot of these people. So when they hear it, it can keep perpetuating the ignorance, how Black people don't contribute, even though we've freaking invented 2/3 of the world's most intricate things. And most recently, I believe, is GPS and voice over IP phones. I mean, we can go on and on. But I'm with you, Kev. It's so frustrating because we know better, like you and I, and most of the Outlaw family, we know what it is, dude. But when it comes to us, like you said, it's just, oh, they're complaining, they're this, they're that, even though we got to work harder and we have to do all these things. So, and I know you got something to say on this one because I saw you thinking. I know the wheels turning, brother.
Well, it's something that I don't get upset about anymore, and I find that I give less and less energy to a lot of the bullshit that comes down my timeline, no matter what
Yes.
platform I'm on. Some stuff I don't even click on, some conversations I don't even want to know about. And I hate to see the average pundits talking about reparations because I don't feel like anybody, I should say, ever approaches it from the right angle or the right perspective, because I think it's something that needs to be done, but there's some other things that need to be done prior to reparations. Nobody wants to take the steps to do what needs to be done prior to. So until we take those steps, then we know it's not going to happen. I don't think structurally we are cohesive enough, meaning our leadership is not in tune with the people that it's supposed to represent to the point where we can move through a Congress or a Senate, or convince policymakers to pass any kind of legislation in terms of reparations. And I also think it's easy for a white politician to play a game and promise you reparations, or a Democrat to promise you reparations and promise that it's part of what they're going to do, and then lie, and then at the end of the day you don't get anything. It's just like how Joe Budden promised law enforcement reform and all these kinds of things for social justice that was part of his platform, and he didn't do none of that shit, right? So a lot of it can be a trick to get out to the polls, to get you to vote. And then when it comes to us, there's a large portion of our people who just don't believe in the democratic system that the United States currently utilizes. They don't believe in it. They don't believe in partisan politics. They don't believe that their vote matters. You got somebody like my brother Dion who will tell you, look, we shouldn't be using our vote as no bargaining chip. I don't know what else you would vote for if you're not voting for your own self-interest. I don't know what you'd vote for. That would have to be explained to me. But I guess that's why a lot of people just don't do it. They just don't vote. So once again, ghetto games, right? I'm mad about the way I'm being treated. I'm upset about my community. I don't like the underserved nature of when it comes to our communities, but I don't get up and vote, and I'm not vocal about anything. I just get up and go about my day every day, just status quo. I don't know what kind of existence that is, so I don't really get upset about it. I look at somebody like Al Sharpton. Once again, I have a name for these types of people. I call them conformists. Um, I
I
feel like
like
there's a
that.
lot of black people who have always played by the rules. I have not. I've always gotten in trouble in my whole life for going against the grain,
Good.
trying to think for myself and trying to move independently. And there are people who played by the rules when I wasn't playing by the rules that looked at me like, what's wrong with this dude?
Yep.
And they have positions now. They have spots of they have like positions of influence, and I don't. So they could say he's always been a rabble rouser or whatever it is that they label us when we don't, you know, stay in tune, when we don't step and fetch it. Aaron Brown, I see you in the chat room. You gave me that good old school ooh woo. If you know, you know. Sharita Shawsey said, "Good evening, Outlaw family. How you doing, Sharita?" Earl Henning, he said, "What it do, my brothers? Fuck Donald Trump." I can tell you what, Donald Trump in his picture of him hugging Jesus Christ is
Yeah.
in front of the United States flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this was controversial and it was actually comical to me because he's hugging the fake white Jesus. The picture of was actually a Pope's son. Not that wasn't Jesus Christ at all. And for years they sold us on that. Shame on a lot of religious leaders for never explaining that picture was not Jesus Christ that we grew up seeing. Like that is one of the greatest shams. I don't share a lot of people's criticism of religion.
Yeah.
But
I hate that
but
stuff.
that is one that I do agree with. That for so long they allowed people to be misled into thinking that picture represented an accurate image of Jesus Christ. But so for Trump to put that picture up, I mean, it's pretty much goes with Trump, right? Like falsehoods and misrepresentation. So, and I don't know why he thinks, and I don't know why these white nationalists have chosen to utilize this so-called, and I call it a pseudo-Christian base. But then again, I guess I do because that's what they've always done. Even the slave masters, what they said, they gave us a Bible, right? Like these are people who have always supposedly been quote unquote Christians. So I guess
I
it's not,
wanted to,
it's the norm for them to do that.
I wanted to mention that last Monday when we was talking about that, y'all brushed up on Trump depicting himself as Jesus on the picture or whatever. And Ian that said he didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, you gotta be able to understand it. That's where it come from, for the most part. The way it was taught to us. You know what I'm saying? It come from them people.
Yep.
Well, there was definitely a passing down of this biblical message and what their spirituality was to us as as chattel slaves. We know that they handed, and it was a abbreviated version. Obviously, there is a such thing as a slave Bible. They did utilize those kinds of quote unquote Christian principles to influence us. A lot of pacifism was passed along to make you think that we should just shut up and be good slaves and be grateful that they saved our cursed souls from the deep dark pit of Africa that didn't have hadn't been delivered to Christianity. So it's been that there's definitely a pattern of that as well. And so I think that contributes right now to where you see black people have kind of lost their connection to spirituality, like in terms of Christianity and going to church and believing in a God. And like black people who are now more freely pursue different kinds of spirituality, I should say. They don't go down the traditional routes and paths that we used to go down when we were little. A lot of us, not all of us, but you hear a lot of alternative kind of spirituality discussed by black people nowadays. And I think that has a lot to do with it, looking at the hypocrisy of white people and people saying out loud, like, how can you pass us any kind of moral standards or any moral kind of degrees when you are the most corrupt individuals that have ever been on this planet? And they are. Like, I don't think, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna have to stand by it. I don't think there's a group culturally of people who have been more evil in the history of this planet than white people. I feel like if you look at
No.
all of the greatest massacres and genocidal acts, exploitive acts, there's a white man or a group of them involved. I always say behind every great fortune is a great crime, and behind every great crime is an old white dude. So
My grandmother always told me that. Yep.
yeah, so it's an oxymoron that they pride themselves as the standard for spirituality, and they want to hand somebody a Bible or they want to tell somebody about Christian values. That's what made Charlie Kirk so funny to me, is that he purported these Christian values, but in the next sentence he'd say something hateful towards black people.
Exactly. That's why I hate that dude. Excuse me. I shouldn't hate anyone. That's why I had such an issue with him and his messaging. Honestly, like, I mean, I know he might have been changing his ways. I'll just say it. He was a piece of shit. He really was. He made it more dangerous for your son and daughter, my daughter, and I got a guy. I'm actually going to text Chris right now because he's watched the show and he's called before. And I'm so disappointed in him because everything on his page, and excuse my language, he is sucking Trump's dick. And everything he's saying is just, oh, Trump. Yeah. He's like, Trump is so good and he's a master negotiator and he's this and this. And I'm like, bro, I understand you're trying to create comedy so you can have an exit strategy because you know this guy is a piece of garbage in your own party. And we can have a whole nother show on that, Kev, OG. We can, because his own party is leaving him alone at this point. A third of it.
Ian, you got to look at it in the same way that you say to yourself, you take the average pimp and you talk to hoes in his stable, and a lot of his hoes love him, right? Like, so most hoes do love their pimp. And I think
that's why I love you, bro. You always keep it 100.
It's the same kind of relationship to me. It's like, you know, daddy gonna take care of us. Daddy, can I get something new? Can I get a new outfit? Daddy, I'm gonna go get some money for you and bring it back so you can be happy. It's that same kind of dynamic where I think Trump is, in essence, a pimp. And I think a lot of his supporters, can I call them hoes? Is that wrong for me to say?
Don't even hit the rant. You absolutely right. And you know what? And this is why I say this is why I love Mondays and I love Wednesdays. And let me break it down again for anyone that might need to see this. You have that you've literally been involved in this for almost 2 decades. You know, it's been a while. You have OG at the bottom, Mr. Carter, who entrepreneur, successful, excellent content. And then you have myself, to where we come together and we kind of just really put the intricate details of how to be successful out 2 days a week. And on top of that, we understand the political structure and we're trying to do something to help the community, bro. Like, this is why Outlaw Radio is so important. And I'm glad that you've decided to, you know, keep the platform going because people need to hear it, dude. And a lot of people are.
I don't think it's complicated. I think people make stuff a lot more complicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because everybody pretty much wants the freedom to do whatever it is that they want to do. So you have everybody has their own version of what the truth is, and people don't hesitate to share it with you. So, you know, everybody got variables on their truth and how they see things, and so you have a conversation with a person and you can discuss something totally transparent and simple, or at least you think it is. And by the time you get done talking about it with them, you'd be like, damn, this shit done got complicated. You end up talking about something that ain't got nothing to do with it, but they put it in there. So everybody mixes a different recipe into their truth. Yes. Let me go to the chat room.
Get it cracking.
Rita says, but what's the difference, voting and not voting? I've seen no change when I did and when I didn't. Hold on, I'll get to that. Let me catch up with the chat room. Ace Cooley in the building. He said, what's cracking, Outlaws? What it do, Ace, man? How you doing? He walk in the building out in Arizona. He said, give us our damn money, and if we fuck it up, it's on us.
Not like that.
Aaron Brown said, where's my money, motherfuckers? Earl Henning said, we go for the BS. This is Ace. He said, shit, I'm glad you used that analogy with the pimps. Shit, ain't no difference between Magic Bishop, Magic, Don Juan, and pimps up, hoes down. So I want to go back to Sarita's question on what's the difference. I think, well, being accountable for yourself, right?
Accountability.
And when it comes to voting, it's like, if you have a voice, use it, right? It's one of those things where if you sit by and watch something happen and you never speak about it or you never speak against it and you feel like it's wrong, then you're complicit. You're complicit to it. So and yeah, we do vote a lot of times and we don't get what was promised to us, or we don't see the change come along that we thought we would get. And that's why we have to be informed voters. That's why we have to be more informed when we vote for someone and who we vote for. And we also have to do a better job of following up on those people once they get voted in. Once we get a candidate across the line, we kind of take a deep breath and relax. We turn the heat down, right? Like, so, you know, we don't stay on their heels. We don't stay hot on their heels and say, hey, you do have a re-election coming up. So if you don't do what you need to do, you will not be reelected. We need to set those examples. She said, just like our reparations, we can do what we want with our money. We can. I know. I don't think that they care what we do with it. The question is really not about them being worried that we're going to fuck the money off if they give it to us. They don't give a shit. I mean, we live in America. We're already the biggest consumers. The more money you give us, the more we're going to spend. We'll spend hell most of our time once we get it, giving it back. That's what you're going to do. So, you know, if anything, it would give a boost to the economy. It's not about, they ain't worried about whether or not we fuck the money off. I think it's just about them, white people in particular, looking at things now with kind of like looking out of looking at everything with a double-edged sword to try and say, we don't deserve anything extra because of the way we've been treated in this country. It's almost like getting someone to say sorry for abusing you, right? They don't want to even be, right now, they don't even want to be held responsible for the things that happen in, because they'll say, I never had a slave. My parents didn't have slaves, but they don't take into account that this country was built partially and especially back then on slave labor. And there's a lot of people who still perpetually enjoy generational wealth that was established from having slaves and free labor. That is just a fact, right? And the exploitation of people of color in this country for so long, being economically shut out, being denied opportunity, not being given a fair shake in the court system, you fuck up legacies by doing that. And there's a lot of people who have been able to hold on to their power structure because of racism and segregation and discrimination in this country. But you can't get them to admit that, right? So that's part of the thing that they don't like. And, you know, they were giving the Japanese who were put in internment camps, they were given reparations, but they're very quiet people because they still have their solidarity. They don't wave that stuff in the face of white people like we do, right? Like we had a whole month. Yeah, we had a whole parade, Juneteenth Day. Like we remind white people every day on how racist they have been and how unfair they have been in this country to us. And they don't like it. They don't enjoy it. It came out where they're saying, well, we don't want white children to feel guilty.
That's so true. I remember him saying that.
Well, if the shoe fits, try matching purse, right? How do black kids feel when they got to watch video, eyes on the prize of little black girls being blown up in a church or kids getting sprayed with fire hoses? Nobody cares how our children feel. So, you know, she says, this is Sarita. She said, we don't have a voice, though. I think that's our fault. First of all, we got to talk about who we are. We have a lot of voices. We don't have a definitive voice. Because right now, outside of Minister Farrakhan, we don't really have anyone who speaks for us collectively as a people. And we argue over how to even identify ourselves. And that's why you have people like a Al Sharpton or like a Roland Martin. I almost call him Roly-Poly Martin. Roland Martin, who says negative things about FBA. Oh, they're stupid or they're dumb, or, you know, it's all this kind of shit.
Fuck what dude talking about. It's
Ghetto games, man.
Yep.
She says voting for people to have a guaranteed salary while thousands of constituents are losing jobs daily. Who are we voting to have a guaranteed salary? I'm not up on the shit I should be up on, honestly, because I'm not. I don't know who is that. Is that what the hot issue is now? Lord have mercy. This is Ace. He says, shit, I hate to say this, but just came out that the Congressional Black Caucus biggest donor is AIPAC. I don't know if anybody really has our best interests at hand. Um, he says people are pissed off at the elite at this point. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of warehouse fires going down. Um, she says meek, meek, meek. This is Sharita Shaw. Once again, who is we? Who is us? Who is that? You say power to the people. Who are the people? Anybody with melanin in their skin can join our parade right now. They can come and do what they say, come to the cookout. Some of us love white people so much every day you see somebody, you got a group of black people who love to be around white people who say they like black people or they like our music or they like our food. That eases their soul. He can come to the cookout. He can come to your damn cookout, right? But who is us? Who's the people? Does the average black person love black people? I'm asking that question to my panel, everybody listening. Does the average black person love black people? If you go up to the average black person on the street and say, do you love black people? I ain't asking you, do you love yourself? I'm asking you, do you love black people? I guarantee you a lot of them either are going to get confused or they're going to say, you know what, I don't know. Or some of them might just flat out say no. So when you talk about power to the people, you talk about us. How far are we going if most of us don't love us? They don't appreciate the good things about us, and they're willing to accept all the negative attributes that have been assigned to us. So y'all tell me. Y'all tell me. Sharita says the people that's elected guaranteed salary. Yeah, they get pay raises. Yeah, we allow it. There's no way in hell that no elected official in this city should be getting a pay raise. No way. There's no way. But they vote their pay raises in and keep it pushing. You know, when you get further and further away from the people that you represent, you represent a district that's probably 85% of the people live below the poverty line, and you making damn near $100,000 a year to represent them. You don't even understand them. You don't even understand their problems or their conditions. So you damn right nothing gets done. I mean, you a fat cat. You don't understand them. Ace Cooley said motherfuckers gonna have raisins in their potato salad if they invite them to the cookout. Well, they didn't tell them to bring no food. They just told them they could come. You know what I'm saying? Sarita Saw said elected officials disappear after they are voted in. Yes. She said Meek was a joke about Roland Martin. Okay. Meek was a vote about it's a joke about Roland Martin. Well, these are the guys who are supposed to be the intellectuals. They're supposed to be the experts on where we are in this country. They're supposed to be our conduits to speak to the political parties and the partisan politics and the big time players. But they don't like us. You think a Roland Martin or an Al Sharpton can appreciate the inner city, the hood, the neighborhood, the block? I don't think so. And I don't think they want to be around it. I think that they'd be the first ones out the door if confronted with it. So, once again, I would ask all black people, do you love black people? If you are a person of color, a foundational black American, do you love black people? You hear so many people trying to separate themselves with the black people versus the niggas. The niggas from the black people. That's always, there's some niggas and there's some black people. There's some black people and some niggas. And the niggas is this and this and this and this and this. See, I ain't no nigga. I'm black. Okay. Do you think when the police pull you over, they're going to say, oh, we're sorry, sir. You're obviously not a nigger. You're black. We're going to let you go. No. It's like my mama used to say, your ass go when the wagon comes to. It's the same. And if you are so enlightened that you can tell the difference between yourself and a quote unquote nigga, then why aren't you out trying to spread some of your knowledge and understanding and some of your infinite wisdom to create change so the number of niggas won't be so high? Because I can guarantee you right now, if you go into the community, I'm talking about the real community. I ain't talking about the suburbs or the pseudo suburbs or those of us who call ourselves doing well. If you go into the community, the nuts and bolts, the trenches, it's more niggas than it is black people. I guarantee you that. Their mentality supposedly is what makes them a nigga. right? So, but even them, as a person of color, it's gonna take all of us. So why don't you love them? Because I don't care how black you think you are, all of us got some nigga in us, and it only takes a triggering moment to bring it out. Believe me, you got. Don't care how authentically educated and classy you are, you got some nigga in you, and there's sometimes it's gonna come out. So, you know, um, Ace Cooley said Roland Martin and Al Sharpton are considered boule. I mean, or like I say, conformists. You know, people who play by the rules, and people who have affiliations with square organizations. You know, like Al Sharpton's National Action Network. What are they doing right now? And I'm not up on what the Congressional Black Caucus does, and I don't follow a lot of Bouleism. So I don't know what the conformists are doing. I don't see it trickling down to the lower levels of where we are. I don't see poor people standing up, turning the corner. I don't see all of the black millionaires and billionaires that we have, and unfortunately most of them, if not damn near all of them, are entertainers, right? We have way more wealthy entertainers than we do corporate barons. It doesn't trickle down. We shouldn't have to ask them for anything with the amount. There's more black millionaires and billionaires now than in the history of this country. So we shouldn't have to ask for anything. But we don't have the type of solidarity that we need to have, because once again, just because you're black does not mean you love black people. That is the question of the night for all black people. Do you love black people? Yeah, you're black. Hey, you're black, right? Yeah, I'm black. Do you love black people? Hell, we can ask ourselves, do you love black people as a black person, as a person of color? Sharita says she disagrees, that she thinks it's more black people than niggas. I think there are a lot of black people who want to be considered black as opposed to a nigga, right? I think you got to own your nigga. You got to own your inner nigga. I believe you need to do that. I don't think any of us should be itching to totally abandon that so quickly, So I don't know. And that's just me, though. I'm just one person. There might be people who agree with you, Sharita. There might be people who say there's more black people than niggas. I think that there are more black people who have a lighter mentality than there are that are people who are savage. The misnomer is that we're all savages and that we're all these kind of irresponsible, lazy, no count, people. And I think that that's just not true about people of color, period. So, and then I think that there's a lot of people who think more highly of themselves than what's actually true. So, Mariah Johnson, how you doing? My cousin, my family. She said, hey, family. Hey, my condolences, cuz. My condolences. Yeah, it's been a rough 2026 for my family. Lost another family member, Mariah. Y'all just let me know the details. If y'all need anything, I'm here for y'all. But definitely gonna miss cuz. Cuz was a real one. That was one of my family members that I don't care where he saw me at. It was love, no matter what. So rest in peace, old Cool Hand Luke, man. Heartbreaking. It's been a tough year to endure so far for my family. We've lost. We've been losing. Carrie Walker Jones, she says, I was raised by a white man that, bless his soul, tried to give me and my adopted brother private school educations where we were beat and raised as the only two black children in an all-white neighborhood where most of the neighbors and their kids treated us like shit. However, it did make my skin thick, and I learned how to whoop ass. I had a lot of practice on them little white kids, she says. Good Lord. I'm glad you were able to make it through that. Sharita Shaw said, being a nigga is a private property, our business. A private propriety, our business?
Propriety, yes.
Okay, a private propriety, our business. Ace says the Congressional Black just played a bill to reinstate the same bill they used on spying on Black Lives Matter members to spy on us now. So we're going to have to watch what we post online now. Cuz shall keep me informed about my cousin's services. Absolutely appreciate that. Love you, cuz. Tell the family I said love. Um, yeah, I want to go back to that though. I want to go back to that discussion because I think that that's something we have to put out there as well. Because we hear that all the time. I'm black. I ain't no nigga. I'm a black man. I ain't no nigga. And then you got black people say, don't say nigga to me. I ain't no nigga. Don't call me that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of us use it to just kind of state our superiority to other black people.
Yep.
Them niggas. I ain't one of them niggas. I ain't like them. I ain't like, and that's something we learn from the white man. To separate ourselves and say it's that same difference between house niggas and field niggas, right? Like,
Yep.
I ain't no regular field nigga. I'm a house nigga. I'm a distinguished nigga. I'm an educated nigga. That's
Hey,
why I love that NWA song "Niggas for Life" at the end. When I think
wouldn't
that
you like to be a nigga too?
I think that might be Al Sharpton who's saying if you poke, you just a po nigga. If you rich, you a rich nigga. If you get to be educated, you just an educated nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. I love that on that song. So,
And that's I was gonna say
she said that she believes there's more black people than there is niggas. I don't know, and neither one of y'all was here when Sharita stated that, so I don't know how y'all feel about that.
Yeah, well, how I feel about it, how does the world view you and how do you view yourself? At the end of the day, I love me, so no one can tell me I don't love me. So I mean, I get it. Like I always say this, and it's funny because my kids, they always make fun of it. Not my 9-year-old, because when my kids were a certain age, I never even cursed in front of them. When they got to about teenage status, I just was normal. But me, I always say, I'm a guy. I grew up. My first place was 13th and Capitol. I grew up on 28th and Meineke. I was part of a subculture for many years. My family members is well documented. Jerry Walker I lived in Ant's house on 28th and Meineke. That's where Ewok kind of like where he was like, oh, I didn't know you grew up there. So long story short, I just always say, you know what? I was formerly part of a subculture, but I'm a street nigga at the end of the day. That's my mentality. And I've taken that mentality to business and it's worked. So just being relentless, doing what you need to get done and not making excuses. So that's when I say it, that's what I mean. But when other people say it, I understand where they're coming from. Because at the end of the day, we are separated. It doesn't matter how many days or years go by. There are always going to be people that are in control of things that look at us as beneath. And that's why more of us need to, we need to be in control. And that's why I say this is so important. Like, and I use Kamar as an example again, own business, does his thing, gets the word out there, and then we all come together twice a week. Same thing. You yourself, like Kev, you got your wife, you got your kids. This is kind of what I'm saying. And all of this stuff is accurate because I got a lot of friends that are quote unquote black niggas, whatever, and they're doing well. They ain't selling dope or whatever no more. A lot of people, they work, they've done well, they've started businesses. So I just think that however you define yourself is cool because I got Italian homeboys that call themselves guaps all the time. I got Mexican homeboys that call themselves spics. It's just like us. It's just when it comes to us, you know what I mean? It's just a little different. So that's my 2 cents on that one.
Was you asking what you thought she meant by that? Like by it's more black people than it is niggas? Is that the question?
No, because what I said was I feel like that there's more niggas. If you go to the community, and I ain't talking about these fake ass want to be pseudo suburban neighborhoods or black people who feel like I got a little money or I got a little job, so I'm elevated. I'm talking about going to the real community where most of us is at. Like if we going down to, the hood, there's more niggas than there is black people. That's what I said. I said I would guess that there's more niggas down there. So while we keep saying, hey, well, I ain't no nigga, I'm a black person and I don't like niggas and I hate niggas. I've even heard some black people talking about how much they hate niggas. I'm saying you probably hate most of your family and most of your people. So yeah, I wasn't really. That's why I was saying. How did y'all think that there's more niggas than there is black people right now?
I think age will have to do with it because a lot of the time as we get older, you know what I mean, we get a little sense about ourselves. But when we young, we doing the wild shit. You know what I mean? We them wild young niggas. You know what I'm saying? Doing what the fuck we want to do and what we was doing, all that shit. But I think that's I think it's more age based. You know what I mean? Like as far as like we talking about if it's more black people than it is niggas. You know what I'm saying? If we talking about a certain type of black person, cause see, I call white people niggas too.
Me too.
You know what I mean?
do it too.
And when I call people niggas, I'm just talking about a wild motherfucker. You know what I mean? Who don't know how to act, type shit. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can be a nigga. Anybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm gonna tell you? But like Kev, to what you say though, like if you just riding down the street through the hood, you're gonna see more niggas than you see black people.
Okay.
Hey Kev, my fault. Go ahead.
I'm very, very, very proud of where I come from. I'm very proud of the tenacity that has been shown by my forefathers and my ancestors. And a lot of our survival mode tactics that we've had to adapt to, including our mentality in terms of living in a neighborhood where it might be violent and it might be wild. And in order to survive, you might have to adapt to some of that. I'm very proud of it. So I don't care how many degrees I got. I've been through a lot of school, right? I've gone through more school than I probably should have. I wouldn't owe the goddamn government so much money. But I've never taken any of that to say that I'm elevated above the mentality of my people. Because at the end of the day, I'm trying to still survive. I'm still trying to be persistent and persevere. So I'm not one of those black people who want to thrive on telling other black people that they niggas and I'm black. Right? So Kerry Walker Jones said
that sounds crazy.
He said that to white people, we all niggas, right? So if I'm standing on the corner with a bunch of white people, with a bunch of black people and a white person ride by and say, fuck all you niggers, I'm gonna say they talking to all of us. They're not centering me out because I got a certain degree or because I got a certain job. I'm not gonna step away from my people and be like, he talking to y'all, not me. What I will tell them is let's not lose our shit because of what just happened.
Yeah.
Right. Let's not come apart because of that person just did that. Now, if they circle back with the intent to perpetrate some sort of, action, then yeah, let's get ready. Let's show them nigga. You want it. If you want to see the nigga, that's one thing about me with white people. You want to call me a nigga and this and that. If you want to see a nigga, I can show you one. I'm damn good at it. Like if that's what you want, yes, I can show you one. But my thing is we are so quick to make that justification. I hear it so much. As the niggas and it's black people. And the niggas gonna do. And then the black people until the police pull your ass over. And treat your black ass like you a nigga. You never know the difference once they get that goddamn nightstick off your ass.
That's
so
right.
It seems like that's just a way for us to divide ourselves. There's more people on that than there are people saying, hey, we're foundational black American. Fuck that shit, I'm a nigga. Oh, okay. Well, you gonna have to see how that work out for you.
Exactly.
This is Sharita Shaw saying most of them be the tethers that be like I'm black, but not like them. That's why delineation is important. Well, once again, just because, you have melanin in your skin doesn't make you a foundational black American. And there is some people who have, that come from other countries or other cultural backgrounds that look at blacks in America and say, I ain't one of them niggas. And they right. You're not like us. You're not part. That's why when the reparations come, you shouldn't get a check. If nothing else, give us this money so we can get rid of this random niggerness, right? Like if it's this perpetual sickness, give us a disability check. I suffer from chronic niggerism.
Crazy as a bitch. That's funny as hell.
I suffer from chronic niggerism, man. Like let me get some paper.
Man, get the chat room. Damn.
So I can get a check and get some therapy or something, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm 10% Cherokee.
Right. Yeah. Kerry Walker said, I think most of them mean that they niggas in the action more than in the person. I don't know. I've never had anybody break it down because it's something that we say. That's why I named the show Ghetto Games. It's something that you hear in the hood. I might be black, but I ain't no nigga. Right? Or man, I'm a black man. I live amongst all these niggas in my neighborhood, and that's why my neighborhood fucked up. Well, if you so enlightened, right? Because the duty of the civilized man is to teach the uncivilized. If you're so enlightened, you need to share some of that light with your people. That's why I said you might love to be black, but do you love black people? That's the question we need to be asking black people who I love being black, but do you love black people? Because you ain't on this earth by yourself. You ain't in the community by yourself. A says what it means is some of us is moving responsibly. Some of us don't want to be mixed up with the undisciplined and wild ass mofos. Well, that's the difference. Somebody's productive and somebody's non-productive. It ain't about nigga and black, right? And so that's what I'm saying. So Al Sharpton or Roland Martin or a lot of the black boule, their calling card is they're more sophisticated than you, because I'm educated and I'm part of a Divine Nine Greek organization, or I'm a black Republican and I'm conservative, so I'm better than you. We both black, we're both FBAs, but you're a nigger and I'm black, so I'm better than you.
That's so funny.
I can guarantee you that's what those slaves who were selling the other Africans, those Africans who were selling the other Africans into slavery, I'm guaranteeing you that's what they were saying back in the days. They some niggers, we ain't. We tell a white man go get their village. Didn't know they was gonna come back and get your black ass too. Black man. So it's just one of my personal.
Man, I'm logging into payroll right now, trying to do this, and the shit you just said is so funny because it's so true.
Serious. It creates a really divisive mentality that would be like me, because one thing is it ain't about what you say or what you believe, it's about what you do. Like I didn't want my children to grow up seeing or experiencing certain things, right? I didn't want them to have to experience it, but I didn't keep them from being aware of what it was like in the community. They know what they seen it. They've been around. They know what it is, what's going down. I didn't try to sugarcoat it or put blinders on them to say, hey, this is what's going on with us. But I didn't want them to have to go through it. So I did my best as a parent so they didn't have to go through it. I think we have to teach our children, hey, it's one of two ways you can go. You can either go straight or crooked. Which one do you pick, right? Because you could say, I ain't no nigga, I'm black. And then you get involved in some nigga shit. Because we got family and we got friends. Like I said, you ain't by yourself. So you see a lot of black people catching nigga cases. And see if they give you a sign for your cell when you get in there that say black or nigger, or African American. They just give you a number. You're all the same, man. So this is Sharita Shaw. She said, niggas have pockets of space. Black people have communities. Where are they? Where are they? Where are the black communities at? Kerry Walker Jones said, I get my kicks out of telling racists they mentally ill and pulling receipts. I love the reaction they have from that. This Dion in the chat room said, this rain is beating our ass. That ain't got nothing to do with the conversation. Dion, let me hit you with that. Sharita Shaw said, but Africans are not FBAs, though. They're not. But they're still melanated people. Africans are still, if you look at a native African and you look at yourself and you're a person of color, there's no denying that there's some genetic lineage there. There's no denying the fact that somewhere within my DNA and their DNA, there's some connective tissue. However, my experience as a Black American has given me a whole different perspective from theirs. And a lot of them come from areas that are still suffering from extreme colonialism. They're still colonized. So absolutely, our perspectives are not the same. And so, and I typically don't refer to a Native African as a nigga, right? Because I think Black people and niggas come from America only. I've gone on record as saying black people only come from America. There's no such thing as a Japanese black person or English black person. Black people only come from the United States of America. This is where this term was coined at. So let me see. Sharita said we're done with the African American label. I mean I am. I mean I'm American, definitely, regardless of how you feel about this country or not. But I'm definitely black. I don't identify as an African, but look at me and look at my skin and look at my features. Obviously, there's some African genealogy there. I don't think I need to say it. I think it's already what they say. What's already known, what's already stated, don't need to be explained.
It's kind of like the people that tried to portray for many years that Jesus wasn't brown skinned. Wild shit. You know what I'm saying? It's just like people just want to identify whatever they want to identify. It's weird.
Well, yeah. I mean, thank God for free will. And I'm glad people have the opportunity to identify the way they want to. But I also believe identify yourself in the correct way, or else you're going to fall for something.
Yes.
You're going to put yourself in a trick bag. And if you think, even if you are a quote unquote nigga and you think that that's the only way that you can conduct yourself or behave, then you're going to put yourself in a trick bag, because even the most niggas of niggas got to come off that shit sometimes and keep a cool booty, as they say.
Yep.
You know, you got to pick and choose your battles. You can't go in the battle with your spear every time you think it's time to go. So sometimes you got to, that's why I say it's on all of us to manage our own nigga. You got to manage your inner nigga, right? When I go someplace, I have to manage myself and not act a certain way or behave a certain way, because it's more or less about being a decent person and being a stand-up man, as opposed to just being some kind of caricature or some stereotype that I saw on TV. Who was this? Earl Henning. He said, I am a black nigga. Let me give Earl. That's funny because my mom used to say that all the time, man. And the reddest I've ever seen a white person change is my mom talking to one of her nurses one time, and she was like, you know, people say African American and people say Negroes, and so how do you all like want to be identified? Like, what? How should we refer to you? And my mother was like, well, you should never repeat this, but I am a black ass nigga. So I just me and my brothers kind of looked at my mother and said, oh, mama, come on. She said, shit, what? I'm from Kosciuszko, Mississippi. I grew up picking cotton. I'm a nigga. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I said, oh, okay, mama. Kerry Walker Jones said, now Africans are mad that we call ourselves FBAs. Yeah, them and a lot of other people. It's some American blacks mad because you say FBA. Kerry Walker, Rita Shaw says everybody has African in them though. Yeah, some of them might have it because we know Africa is where life started, but it's not, those genes are not as strong as they are in some of us. Look at that. See that? All of us have this in common on this screen. And most of the people listening, there's some people who come from Africa, you know, as far as where life started at, you know, but those genes they haven't lasted. You can look at them and you never be able to tell. So yeah, everybody does have some African in them though. I do agree with that. That's a good way. That's a good way to put it. Now let me know though. The chat room is popping. The phone line is popping. We got 2 questions so far going. First one being, if you're a black person, do you love black people? Because I think it's 2 different things: to be black and love yourself, and to be black and do you love your people? And then the second one is, where are you at with the nigga versus black person debate? You consider yourself a nigga or a black person, or are you totally against anything that would be, you know, associated with, oh, that's some nigga shit, right? So name of the show is Ghetto Games, man, on a Wednesday night, man. It's Outlaw Radio. I did see, we talked about Africa Bambaataa, his death over the weekend last Monday, and we were talking about him, the accusations made of him sexually assaulting young men all those years, and how does that affect his place in the pantheon of hip hop? You know, where does that place him? and people were saying, you know, I said it should put an asterisk by his name. I don't think it should overshadow his contributions. But KRS-One, one of my heroes, one of my hip hop heroes, who I still think KRS is one of the best dudes to ever bless the microphone, was in an interview, and he said, if you have a problem with what Africa Bambaataa did, you should quit hip hop. And I just thought, what an asinine statement. He sexually assaulted young men. What do you mean you should quit hip hop?
Chris be saying dumb shit sometimes, bro. Chris be saying dumb shit. I would think
if you didn't have a problem with what he did, you should quit hip hop. If you don't got a problem with young men getting sexually harassed, I don't want you around me. I definitely don't want you around my son or none of my young family members, male family members. I don't want you around the female family members. So I thought that was an asinine statement by KRS-One. And like you said, Ian, over the years, he said some wild shit.
Yeah, fuck what he talking about. Yeah,
I just thought it was just like, what?
That nigga be saying dumb shit sometimes, and this is one of them cases. This is not a time to try to, because you knew the nigga 40 years ago and y'all was cool in the basement going through crates. This is not a time to try to defend him in this situation. If anything, Chris should have just not said anything. It is what it is, bro. And you're absolutely right, Kev. Yeah, he shouldn't have said anything publicly, because now he looks like he wants to hang out with Epstein. And we know that's not the case with Grandmaster, but I'm just saying. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
Well, what's wrong with saying I don't approve of anything he did in terms of sexual assault, especially on young men, but I can appreciate his contribution to the culture of hip hop? What's wrong with saying that and moving on?
Yes.
Like, I don't know why you got to have this higher level of thought, like, about this shit. We talking about young men getting thied. You know, Hassan Campbell saying the man used to thigh him. That's some out of pocket shit. I think that should be grounds for disqualification, right?
Yes,
but Tupac say you live in fantasies, nigga. I reject your deposit. I don't want you around. I don't want you around. If that's how you behaving, I don't want you around. I can't.
Ironically, he was supposed to take that song off of Machiavelli. Before he died, he had squashed it with Nas, so he didn't want that on there. That's funny. That song, he actually didn't want that on there. That's why that's kind of funny.
I'm glad he didn't. I don't care who
I
got
know that
this.
song cold as hell.
On his best song. I don't care if your feelings got hurt or not.
Yeah, that song was cold. We should do a whole show about Machiavelli, dog. Pac was cold, man.
Sarita Shaw said that's that tether shit. The FBA would not say that shit. She said, speaking of KRS-One.
He on some other shit, bro. He always talk about he FBA and shit. That's why that's weird.
Kerry Walker said that's just as silly as Fox News saying that the birth rate is down because 15, 16, and 17-year-olds are not having babies as much now. Yeah, is that what we want? So we can get the birth rate back up, right? Tell your 15-year-old to go out and get knocked up. Come on, man. Come on now, Fox. Give you one of them. Earl Henning said, love all my precious black people, even though they are niggas. Hey, listen, I don't like all the shit that goes down, but I love my people in the struggle too, man. I'm listen. You in the hood, you doing what you got to do to make it, man. It is what it is. I can't, you know, as long as you understand that some of the shit you might get involved in becomes genocidal. Like once you start to say, okay, well, I got to eat, so I'm going to sell some dope, or I'm going to start robbing people, or I'm going to start pimping, or whatever, any of those crimes that you start to commit as an excuse to feed yourself or your family that are genocidal and harmful to everybody else, that's when I start to have a problem with the nigga shit. Like, right, you want to break in my house, you want to break in my cars, you want to, you know, rob my people when they walking down the street. Old people can't come outside, elderly people can't sit on their porch. That's when I say, hold up, some of this nigga shit gotta quit, y'all. We gotta back up off of that shit. She said they call them women, 15, 16, and 17-year-old women. Right. Is there such thing as a 15-year-old woman? I think not. Unless you KRS-One in Africa Bambaataa, I guess, but then they rather mess with the little boys. Sarita Shaw said nigga shit is cultural though. Can't knock it. I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. You can't just love people who are up. I got a problem with anybody who just loves somebody when things are going well. Like I'm all good. I'm on your team. I support you. I'm your friend. I'm your guy when everything is going in your favor. But as soon as you hit some adversity, I ain't fucking with you no more. Like I can't stand people like that. They call it a fair weather friend. And I would tell anybody, if that's your mentality, I don't want you around me when I'm up. So when I am doing good, don't come around me. Keep that same energy, as they say. So that's why I say I love my people, regardless of what we have to go through. Because some of the worst families, those so-called nigga families in the hood, are going to produce some of the most productive people that you can possibly imagine. How many of us who have gone on to be great, but we started at less than zero? That's why you can't count us out. You can't, what they call it, throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Yep.
You do that, right? You got to let the process play itself out. She said, this is Sharita, she said, knock it, survival mode. And I tell y'all something else I've seen. Like I'm scrolling through Facebook. I don't got shit to do. I'm sitting around and I'm seeing women, and this is something that's fairly new as well. I see women putting up posts, and I see more and more women being over the top aggressive with sex talk. Like I like their preferences and what they like and their attitude towards this, that, and the third. And I'm saying this is a shift in energy in terms of how we as a society expect our women to behave. And I'm wondering, is this a good or a bad thing? I don't know if this is something that, and I mean, like it gets extreme to where I'm seeing some stuff. I gotta scroll. Whoa, I don't want to hear that.
Yep.
Like, it's like, you didn't need to share that. Have y'all noticed this lately? Like over the last, I don't know if it's a social media thing, but you see more and more women who come on now and they're just really like, their conversation is just over.
Oh yeah, weirdos. Yeah.
I think it got something to do with the music.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think that adds to it. It's like fuel to the fire.
Okay. And what regard?
I have noticed it, you know what I mean? Like the being overly aggressive, period. You know what I mean? Overly aggressive, period. You all ready to fight, you know what I mean? At the drop of a hat, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it sucks. You see the shit on YouTube, the YouTube videos. Like I be watching them videos with the police about the police pulling people over and shit. And I'm gonna tell you, man, black women, like especially the younger ones, dog, they act so fucking crazy. You know what I'm saying? They get so fucking aggressive and delusional when it comes to the police. You can't tell them shit. They ready to fight the police. Like, yeah, you right, Kev. I think they overly aggressive in all areas.
Okay. I don't. So you know, I think as men we have to understand that women deserve a voice. I mean, you have to hear them. You have to hear what they're saying. I think their perspective has to be considered. But it's one of those things where they say, "Well, how much is too much?" Right? Like so. Like I don't think a woman needs to have the same attitude towards certain things as a man does. I think it's unhealthy. I think that they should hold on to their femininity, just like it's important for men nowadays to hold on to their masculinity. You know, and I guess the flip side to that is there's a lot of men who are on social media who express feminine sensibilities. I don't know nothing about being a female. I didn't have any sisters. I had a mother, and she was in the house with my brother, my father, and myself. So it was men, right? Like, and so my mother didn't teach us how to be a girl. She didn't teach us how to understand what it's like to be a girl. So I don't have any feminine sensibilities. Therefore, more often than not, you're gonna see me, I'm gonna behave in a masculine way. And I would suggest most men do so. So I think it's the same thing with my daughter. We didn't try to raise her to be a tomboy. We didn't encourage her to get in touch with her masculine side. She was encouraged to be a young lady at all costs. And just like being a man involves certain things and certain principalities, I think being a woman is the same. So a lot of times I would say don't compromise your femininity for clicks, likes, and follows, and paint yourself into a corner where you become a one-trick pony. and then you get upset when nobody takes you seriously or want to hear what you got to say. So yeah, I think that's kind of like where it is. But Kamar, I'm pretty sure that music and this culture does play into it. As a matter of fact, I know the music does because I see so many people, and it's one of my pet peeves. I hate people who do voiceovers with music. Like for you to take somebody else's song and act like you making the video, that shit annoys me. I skip past that so fast. Like it's like what's the point of that? You playing make believe. You got the hairbrush up to your face playing in the mirror when you're a little kid. You know, one day I'm gonna be famous. Yeah, it's stupid to me. And a lot of times listen at the songs that they're playing or some of the stuff like the movies or whatever quotes it might be.
Yeah. You know, you was talking about the overly aggressive in a sexual way. And the first song came to my mind was the song like WAP. You know what I mean? Remember WAP with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. You know what I mean? Like it's songs like that make young girls feel like that shit is cool. That shit is natural. It's common.
Right. I didn't think WAP was bad. I felt like it's something that should be reserved for adults. I don't think youngsters should listen to it. I respect a WAP like I respect a Freaky Tales by Too Short.
I think the song itself was dope, but you know what I mean? It's just like Freaky Tales. It gave us the wrong message. Like you know what I mean? It did set us off a bit too.
That's true. That's true. It did set us in a certain direction. It gave you it put a battery in your back.
Right. Like you talk about the song WAP, they bragging about a wet ass pussy. Like that ain't even no good song content. No song subject, good song subject matter.
Hold on, y'all. I got a call on the line. I want to make sure. Gotta make sure I got everybody. Dion, can you hear me? Okay, I gotta get Dion tapped in, y'all. Give me a second. I don't know why this is disconnected. But yeah, Kamar, I just think it's all about, you know, you get what you put out. And so a lot of times when people put certain things out, and then wonder why people treat them a certain way, like you got the answer to your own question. Mm-hmm. All right, Dion, what's going on, man?
Can you hear me?
I got you.
Can you hear me?
I got you. What's up?
Oh, okay. Because I can't hear none of y'all. But anyway, man, it's hot there. You already know, got to call in, chime in with you guys. You know, I like to let the first half breeze by. You know, and I heard you shoot me down about how I be feeling over us using our vote as a bargaining chip. You know, but you know that'll be always a tug of war. You know, just really, man, you know, looking at Al Jazeera, watching CNN, looking at how dude, he going at it with the Coke. Then he just put another depiction of himself. Oh, yeah, I think y'all was talking about that, getting held by Jesus. Like, it's so sad. Like, it's comical. It's comical because we said, this is what we said was going to happen. And then now I don't know, excuse me. I ain't gonna say I ain't heard you. Maybe I missed out on it. But a couple weeks ago, they talking about alleviating like almost 10,000 jobs from TSA. That's part of Project 2025. And then you know he going back and forth with the Pope, and it's just sad, man. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, like with the British Prime Minister, he went off today. He did. And America is not, I don't think America is never going to come back from this. And Americans went through this because of racism. I feel. That's just my point of view. Because we didn't have to like Kamala. We didn't. All we had to do was get past the next 4 years with her, and then boom. You know, as long as this, and then, but I agree with some of the other people too. I don't think Joe Biden them did a good enough job when they because he was never supposed to be a run again for president. He was never supposed to be a run again for president. He shouldn't have been allowed to eat shit off the White House lawn. You hear what I'm saying? You know, and it's so sad. But, you know, I've never been a patriotic type of person anyway. So to see the demise of America, I'm going to be part of the collateral damage. But hey, you know, just to know, you know, and Cam, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can y'all hear Dion Kamar again?
Yeah. He sounds good. He sounds good.
And just to see, you know what I'm saying, the shock and the shock on some of these white folks' face, you know what I'm saying, is just, it's priceless. Because the only thing we can keep saying is, we told y'all. So we told y'all, you know, y'all didn't have to like her. Y'all didn't. Y'all did not have to like that woman. You know what I'm saying? But the only thing we wanted to do was get past these first 4 years, maybe put somebody else in there and just move past Trump. But they couldn't do it, you know? And to be honest with you, the Republican Party, this one man has single-handedly destroyed the Republican Party. Has single-handedly destroyed the Republican Party. And it's sad for traditional Republicans, you know, people that, you know, they Republicans, you know what I'm saying? And they pride themselves on being Republicans, you know. I'm a person, I'm not a Republican. I do have conservative viewpoints, but I appreciate the policies that the Democratic Party has passed and I'm able to benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a Democratic governor who's helping people. You know, we might have another Democratic governor who's, you know, Tony Evers is talking about commuting people's sentences. So if you was a juvenile and you committed a crime, your sentence did get commuted. You can go from life, maybe you did 25, 30 years, boom, you come home. Back then, you had no eligibility. You was going to die there. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the governor, you know what I'm saying, he allowed people to get a pardon. I didn't recently fill out my pardon application. I was just like, it is what it is. You know, I'm almost 50 years old. You know, I mean, it ain't nothing that only thing that I want to be able to do is own a firearm. But other than that, it ain't nothing that I ain't been able to do being a felon. But, you know, so I appreciate some of the Democratic Party's policies. Now, you know, we can always go back and forth with Aaron. But okay, yes. But if you want to collect unemployment, SNAP, any of your family have been on SNAP benefits, anything, Social Security, OSHA, like, I don't know if you're familiar with what's going on in Louisiana. It's some little town in Louisiana. Donald Trump has decimated, you know, the EPA. People over there ain't got healthy air to breathe, good water. It's just so much, you know what I'm saying? And I just can't, you know, that hate and that racism that was in people so much. They said, we can't allow another nigger to run this. Even when Hillary Clinton first got in, tried to run for president, you know, I was hearing her the other day when she was talking about what's going on over there in Iran. You know what I'm saying? He had decimated the people that was, you know, actual nuclear experts and stuff like that. She was like, when we went over there and sat down with Iran, we went over there with experts, you know. Now, me, myself, personally, I'm just going to be honest. I feel like Iran ain't never did shit to me. So I feel like what's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you allow Benjamin Netanyahu, whatever that motherfucking name is, and Israel to have nuclear weapons, everybody should be able to defend themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's like over here. Why you should have a 45 and I gotta go to war with you with a 22? Let all of them have nuclear weapons. If they kill each other, then hey, that's part of life. You know what I'm saying? I think they probably would do that, but you know, it just is what it is. But just watching America go down in the toilet, and like I said, we all knew this was gonna happen, but people didn't listen to us. So you know, that's my rant.
I'm glad you called because I want to ask you, because we were talking about the nigga versus the black people thing, and then we were talking about are you black? Of course, if you I like to ask most black people that are black, consider themselves black, do they love black people? It's one thing to be black, but it's another thing to love black people. Now, Dion, I know you pride yourself as a black man, but can you actively say you love black people?
It's quiet as hell.
I do. Hold on. I do. I love her. The acts that we be committing, man, it's just like, wow. You know, like, even just, it ain't even got to be just, it could just be you driving down the street. I'm trying to get through the block. I don't want no problem. I'm just trying to get home. The niggas gonna have you. They gonna wait there with you, gonna say something slick. Or just simply going in the grocery store. You standing in the way. I'm trying to get through. You know what I'm saying? And like the other day when I was in Chicago, this is the dangerous part about life now. Especially like, this is how I look at it. You have to be more ruthless than the next person. So if I kill you, I got to kill your whole family because I'm going to get the equal amount of time as I would for killing you. So I have to be more heartless, more scandalous than the next person. So if I get myself doing all that, I love my dogs and shopping and everything. I just try to be meek, mind my business, walk with my head down and stay out the way. Because these niggas will make you kill them and they whole generation lying. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because yes, but I do I love us, but I just hate that we have so much self-destructive behavior towards one another, being so violent, killing one another, jumping on one another. Like you said with the women, you know, I love my black women, you know what I'm saying? But to see you sit, that's like the other day I was at the school and I showed one of my coworkers, I said, look, it's a thirst trap. This girl sitting there got a fat ass, bra and panties on, all that. You know, like a nigga gonna jump in your inbox like, what's up with that? Woo, 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 woo. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. These bitch ass niggas, woo, 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 this, woo, that. Bitch, you put this, it's like me putting a plate of food in front of my dogs and telling them not to eat. You know what I'm saying? That's the argument that I had that I feel like the other day when we was talking about should women be able to allow what they would want to wear. Yeah and no. That's why Islamic countries, they have women dressed a certain type of way because they know the eyes and the mind could be tantalized by the way a woman's figure is shaped, and they have their women dressed down. But we like, oh, she should be able to dress, woo woo.
But they still wrong though, because we should have enough self-control though, man.
Look at that fat old ass. Oh, you disrespect her, I'm gonna kill you. But she walking out here like that though, you know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, like I said, because I got friends, I got a lot of women friends, and they be like, they're dressed down, but they so motherfucking curvy that they can have anything on. You see that, them hips and that rump, and
I ain't gonna lie, D, and I love you, bro. With that said, though, like I got two beautiful ass daughters, and it's funny because people have said I had my 19-year-old come to the job, and I had like multiple male employees in the same age range as her, like be like, wow, she's so good looking. If she wore something that hugged her or whatever, and then some nigga was like they went wild because they hugged her, I would drop the bag and them niggas would be dead. Like, if a motherfucker think it's cool to kind of whatever, that's not, in my opinion, I'm just saying that's not a reason. Because I'll blow a motherfucker's head off if they fuck with my daughters, man. Like, I don't get it. Like, I'm listening and I see where you coming from. But at the same time, like, maybe I employ a lot of people and I see beautiful women literally every day. I don't never come out of pocket. It don't matter what they look like. I got a dress code. And even if they violated the dress code, I'm not going to be like, oh, man, she looks so fine. So I'm going to stare at her every day. I'll give you an example. Like one of my assistants, beautiful young lady. She's 23 years old. She's about a 9.5. I've never said anything to her to make her feel uncomfortable or whatever. But trust me when I tell you, she's a very nice looking woman. So, yeah, man, I can't get with that shit. Motherfucker, like, try to test my daughter and be like, well, she had on some yoga pants. Man, I'll blow a motherfucker's head off. Or one of my cousins to kill him. I don't know, man. Like, try to rape my daughter on some shit? Nah, bro, I can't get with that one.
Kamar, you had something you wanted to add to this conversation, bro?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man, you know, you look at traditionally, you know what I mean? There was a time when we really didn't wear much clothes. You know, we see different videos.
That's a good point.
Like different tribes in Africa where women had their breasts out. You know, and the difference between then and now is then they understood that breast was for reproduction, a part of life. It wasn't for their sexual pleasure. You know what I'm saying? And I think now we done got to a point where our culture is so hypersexual, you know what I'm saying, that we get excited when we see that shit. And really, we shouldn't even be excited. There's ass everywhere. There's titties everywhere. There's curves everywhere.
Yeah, dude, like most of my staff is women, Kumar. It's funny you say that, OG. Like with my 14 employees, 11 of them is women. And like maybe like 6 of them very attractive. And I don't
think any of us as men are ready for women to just free the boobies and just come with just walking outside.
Like, they free balling with their titties
right, like I don't think any of us, it'd be pretty hard to concentrate on work if every woman's walking around. You know what I mean?
I feel like
I'd have to ignore it because I ain't trying to go to the box.
I feel like if you used to being around women being around you, you know what I'm saying? Like it don't excite you that much. You know what I mean? To where you jump out your body because you see a fat ass.
But I see where D is.
You know what I mean? At some point,
and
then at some point,
then
at some point, man, we should grow out of that.
I know what he's saying. Like some niggas do though.
Self-control is always needed.
Yeah, some niggas do though, and I see where he's coming from. I just don't agree with niggas doing that shit.
But I'm listen. I don't want to get caught up in a situation where men are totally flatline when it comes to seeing a beautiful woman and not reacting to it to the point where it becomes homosexual. Like I think it's natural for a man to see a woman, especially if she's attractive, for him to have some sort of reaction. But if he's gonna go over the top with, God damn, baby, you got a big old ass, let me grab it. It's like,
bro, I got a woman that I hired that's like no joke. That's very, very attractive. She's very curvy. I'm not saying anything disrespectful, even because I know it's a couple people that work for me that watch the podcast. But the thing is, though, I hire one. She's starting Monday. She's amazing. When I walked her through we have a 12,000 square foot building. I gave her a tour of everything she's supposed to be doing or whatever. Dude, some of the members in the place were losing their mind. One of the guys that works for me for the cleaning, he pulled me to the side and was like, "Is she single? Is she single?" Like I kept getting that though. That's why you laughing, because like the whole time.
I'm laughing because he's a weirdo who should be asking her that. Why the hell are you asking me?
Well, he was just asking me because I was with her. He didn't want to just go up to her, but I'm like, whatever. But I was like, man, I had said, I was giving her a tour. I have no idea what her relationship status is.
All right, weirdo. Get away.
Yeah, like I'm like, she doesn't have a wedding ring on, so I'm going to assume she's single. So so I get where Dion is coming from, and I've seen that before. But me personally, like for instance, with being in the business of mental health, I deal with guardians every day. I deal with other people from other programs. Like, I mean, there's so many beautiful women in mental health. I also deal with support coordinators. In addition to the support coordinators, I have people that work for us, and then I do business with, other people that legitimately might want to do business with us. So, when people are in sales or you're in retail, they send their best looking people. So, dude, I deal with that every day, literally. I've never once be like, man, she's so fine, man, I'm gonna throw her over the table and fuck this bitch.
Whoa.
Never.
Oh.
Yeah, that was
that. No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the energy.
Calm down.
Yeah, so I'm like,
you said a whole lot of bad words.
Calm down. God damn, you got really aggressive. Like,
but no, that's how I feel when I be listening to it, because I'm like,
a thought.
Don't be sitting there talking to a woman trying to play it off, and that's what you're thinking in your head. It becomes
like you can't be like that, bro. Because when you make them feel uncomfortable, it's so many different avenues that'll make your life horrible. So let
me go to the chat room right quick.
Yeah, for sure.
Earl Henny said a hoe will be a hoe. Some of them will let the whole world know. Sharita said women deserve a voice, but why sound like an aggressive, angry man?
Yes.
I agree with that. This is Carrie Walker Jones. She said you can't tell a person to do what's wrong the right way if you haven't taught them the difference between right and wrong. There are no social media telling people they have rights, but she said they are on social media telling people they have rights, but are failing to tell them how to exercise these rights properly. This is Ace Cooley saying, I'm a black man raised in the hood, but I got a few low-income tendencies.
That was a good one.
Rita Shaw had stated earlier
we gotta save that comment.
She said she was a teen parent and she has a daughter who's just become a nurse. She said, did y'all see the interview with Kamala Harris saying she might again? I think she might run again.
Don't need to run no more.
Not a good idea.
They saying that voting should be transactional. She's starting to campaign now. She might run again for president.
That should be the next topic. No.
I mean, she's welcome to do so. I mean,
she shouldn't.
It is what it is.
Who you gonna vote for?
She shouldn't.
Trump?
Well, Trump can't run again.
Trump can't. I'm just saying, who would you vote for?
Oh, obvious. I'd vote for Harris again. I voted for her last fucking time.
Right. Yeah. I would. There wouldn't even be a hesitation. Like I'd be like, okay, I got to go through this bullshit.
Do you want to go into detail over it real quick?
As far as voting, now I'd vote for Donald Duck over Donald Trump.
Well, not even that. Like, because I think it's important that people understand when you looked at his budget and they actually did the budget, they had economists weigh it out. His was 7.2 to $8 trillion. Hers was 4.1 to 4.8 trillion. So her budget was consistent to helping as far as new parents with daycare shit, first time home buyers. That's what Democrats do. As far as I'm just saying, as far as those parts of their agenda, that was one of her things. I think that a lot of the conservatives didn't like their they didn't like their choice school shit or whatever. But dude, she was a conservative compared to him, and that's why I hate these people so much.
I don't care about her policies. I don't. I really don't even care about her policies.
Yeah,
I don't want Donald Trump to be the president of the United States no more. Like,
I
don't care. I'm oblivious at this point. I know I've been cautioned about this. Don't let your personal feelings dictate your vote. Yeah. In this case, I am definitely willing to vote for anybody who runs against Trump. Okay. You'd almost have to be his twin brother and say the same things verbatim that he said for me not to vote for you.
Okay, that's fine. And you're right. But the thing is, though, in addition to everything you said, her fucking platform was better. Like, I'm talking about financially and everything. Her fucking budget was $3 billion cheaper than his, and they still voted for this cocksucker. And they had evidence that his budget was going to be horrible. Dude, as of right now, far as today on the 15th of fucking April, he spent more than any other president in history. So when they say those lies, when they say those lies like, oh, we voted for him for the economy and this and no new wars, all of it is a lie. They didn't vote for her because she was fucking black or brown skin or a tether. That's why they didn't vote for her.
Well, she's definitely a tether bed wench.
I knew you would say that.
She's definitely a bed wench and she's a tether. So, but with all that said, I'd still vote for her over Donald.
Yes, and that's my daughter's a bed wench too, by the way.
Oh Lord! Well,
my oldest, yes, her oldest.
You to say, Ian, not me.
Ian Rooney is a white man, so 6'6" white man. He can protect her.
Well, unless depend on what caliber he's up against.
Well, he afraid of me a little bit, but outside of that, yeah, he can protect her.
This is Dre Day. Shout out to Dre Day in the chat room. How you doing, my brother? He said, I agree with Evers pardoning people, but not on eliminating truth in sentencing. It gives the same feeling as the Kia boys not getting charged, slap wrist. Yeah, let's be careful how criminal friendly we become, right? Like when we start, people got to understand the consequences of their behaviors. That's why I'm not necessarily for violent criminals getting their rights to own firearms back. Like, I feel like, you've shown that you a little bit left to the curb with that shit, man. I don't know if I want you to have a pistol. You know what I mean? Like, so it's just like, that means the next thing you're gonna be doing is going easy on child molesters and rapists.
Yep.
Some people need to sit they need to shit and sit in it. They need to commit those crimes and they need to go and pay for them. Right? Like, so we ain't too much worried about letting everybody out of jail. Let's go case for case and see who's in there unjustifiably, or sometimes the punishment don't fit the crime. So we gotta be careful on that. And I'm with him dealing with truth in sentencing too, because some people just don't need that much time. But let's be easy on how friendly we are to criminals. Some of these motherfuckers really in there. They deserve to be in there.
That's one of them things. Like, it should be a case by case type of thing. That should be one of them things where the judge would have to swear that in, or you know what I mean? Make that a part of your sentence.
Yeah, I think we got to be case by case basis. That's the best.
Because some cases ain't violent. You know what I mean? So why? Like you got child support. Shit, when the motherfucker in jail, you can't do shit no way.
Exactly.
So why truth in that, brother?
That's very true. And why have we, after all these years, have we not revisited child support on some level and initiated some sort of reform? We see how destructive it is for families. It's not something that helps families. It's something that destroys families. So it definitely needs to be that.
If I can add something real quick in regard to
Hold
first
on,
child
Ian. Give
support.
me a second to catch up with my chat room.
Yes, sir.
They were kind of still when we were talking about the sexual attitudes based on how women dress, and Sharita was saying, "Ian, stop," and she was stop your friend, please, before you know when you went to throwing people over tables and shit like that.
Yeah.
She said, "Ian, no, she was trash." I don't know who she was
Yeah.
talking about was
You
trash.
don't do that kind of shit. It's wrong.
This is Ace. He says, "Remember, Donald Trump won't be on the next ballot. I will be. It will be another Republican on the ticket. I have to wait and see who they're gonna put up there." And then she says, "This is Sarita saying, speaking of Ian, stop speaking meaning of attraction of women employees."
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
That's what some people do, and that's the problem. And you have got, no matter how you feel about a woman employee, you can't. There's no
how
justification to
about
make her
this?
feel
If we
uncomfortable.
just start telling men, grow up, just
Yeah,
grow up,
exactly, bro. Like I
like
don't
a little kid.
understand it. Like I've actually pulled one of my male employees to the side because we were in a meeting, and I noticed that he glanced down at a woman's chest multiple times. I had to pull him to the side to be like, bro, if that is that hard for you, look at the ceiling or look at your phone. I said, you don't want her to feel uncomfortable. I'm like, bro, stop that shit. That shit dumb as fuck. And in addition, as far as that aspect of it, the child support thing that you were talking about earlier, dude, man, like my ex-wife tried to get alimony from me and child support. So I understand, I understand like some people when they feel like they're married, and we can have a different show on this because I'm a living testament. When you go through a divorce, because I was married for 20 years, I was with my ex-wife for 20 years, my kid's mom. She tried, and I never talk about her online. I'll never say nothing negative because my kids could see this 30 years later. But they already know at this point. She tried to get alimony. She tried to get a percentage of my 3 businesses, and she tried to get child support. She was able to get child support. The child support that she was allotted is a salary. Like if you had a part-time employee, the $2,000 a month or whatever it would be, that's what she was awarded. I think personally that what the courts should try to do is do joint custody and then kind of get that working, because the father shouldn't, because the average father cannot freaking pay $1,500 to $2,000 a month. It's not even realistic. And a lot of the times, the reason the mothers try to keep the kids is because they want the money. So that's a whole nother show. And I mean, I brought it up because of, you read one of the comments. And I think we've gotten to the point because women have been conditioned to think that is okay. Oh yeah, fuck the dude. We're gonna go ahead and get him and get the money from him or whatever. So yeah, we've gotten to a point to where everything is so bad. So no, I don't agree with the child support. No.
What I was trying to say was in terms of all these the relationships between men and women and how men act, upon sight of an attractive woman. We all done had that one homeboy who, for whatever reason, you always got to pull. You always got to climb him, get him to come out the tree. You always got to say, "Hey man, relax, man," or you had to pull him to the side and say, "Man, you're doing too much, man.
Like, chill out, bro.
Some of us are just inappropriate." But I think it's important that most men start to just grow up. Just grow up. Stop acting like a little boy. Like you ain't got to
don't look at a woman as a sexual object.
You don't have to do backflips. Even if you do, you don't have to do backflips.
No.
And make a spectacle of yourself. Some things you need to just keep to yourself and keep it in your head. And so, grow up, man. Exercise some maturity. It is a such thing as a process of going from a boy to a man. And so we need to start, and that's something we should teach our young men is, hey man, keep yourself cool, man. Relax. Breathe deeply. Feed your brain some oxygen, man. Because it ain't that serious and it ain't worth the consequences. Sharita said she's won lawsuits about this kind of thing. She said, I've won lawsuits about this for real. And Ace Cooley says, "Shit, that courthouse scrape my ass for child support and alimony. It used to be worse. There was a time that a woman could come around 17 years later and they will take you back to day one to have you pay that shit back. Now it's from the date paternity is established." I just think there needs to be somebody needs to revisit it for the brothers that are paying child support and still not being able to see their children, or sometimes the courts will allow the woman to control um, the narrative when it comes to the child's upbringing. Like, he's paying all the child support in the world. He can't see his kid when he wants to. He has no parental rights. She make all the decisions, and she uses it to hurt him. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know a lot of this is based on brothers who don't follow up and go back to court and report on her ass for violating the petition or whatever. But I just think some of these rules need to be examined a little bit more closely. It's like what Kamara and I both said earlier about the truth and sentencing thing. I think it needs to be reviewed on a case-by-case basis. If you got a brother who is active in his children's life and he's showing that he don't mind paying that child support, but if he comes in that courtroom and says, "Look, I don't get to see him or her when I want to. Sometimes it's my weekend. I don't get to see them. She makes all the decisions." And he should also be able to lay out his financials and say, "Look, I pay child support and I do this in addition to that." And she still woulda. I think that it needs to be examined in that regard. So that's why I say child support reform. I definitely think that there should be more leeway given to men, because I think men catch the short end of the stick when it comes to going to court for paternity. It's real rough on brothers, and we see a lot of brothers get the knife stuck in them. And for some of them, it makes them not want to deal with their children, because they be like, "Look, man, I ain't got nothing extra for you. I bust my ass all week. I work 20-hour shifts so that you can have stuff. I'm not finna be running here and there and chasing you, and she won't let you come see me." It is what it is. So, definitely we need to review that. Ruben says, this is Ruben Anderson. What's up, Rube? He said, "My bad for the last show, Kev. I fell asleep. Long nights, long days, and light work. Totally understand, man. You're doing what you got to do." So I did see that it is true that they have arrested a young 24-year-old brother for the murder of young Tweezy. And along with the other brother, what the other brother's name was, Bubba Dub or something like that. And then there's 3 other people who got shot as well. So they did arrest him, and he's being held on a $50,000 bond in jail. So we're gonna see let's see what this was all about, man. And it can't be about nothing that's worth it, right? There's no reason for this to have happened, for 2 people to have lost their lives and other people being shot, aftermath of someone losing their business, and just this whole thing.
It's all bad.
It's there's nothing worthy that could have been. There's nothing that he could say that would have justified this. But some stuff was released. Like, I didn't know that they had found a firearm at the scene, and they did a DNA test on it, and it had his and some other people's DNA on it. It said it was a 40 caliber handgun with a switch on it, and there was also an AR-15 fired, 223. So yeah, the details are coming out, and a misnomer. And I heard Homer Blow getting real passionate about. Yes, they weren't shot in front of the actual club. They were shot somewhere south of the bar, and that's where the bodies were laying at. So there was some misconceptions about where the bodies were actually laying at. So they were saying that they weren't shot at the club. So in front of the club, it was like, I guess, at the building next door or something. So that's crazy. Sharita Shaw said only $50K for 2 murders. Yeah, and then 3
my Lord.
Yes, that's crazy.
I wanted to add before we go into the as far as this story is really bad, just for the record, for everybody watching. Because I had to get up really quick as far as to add to the child support thing just before, because I know we're moving on. I'm not trying to subject hop. Like, I'll give you an example. And this is what's going on in Wisconsin. So all of you, you young brothers watching, be careful. I was with my ex-wife for 20 years. When we got divorced 3 years ago, when she was going through the proceedings, she literally went to them and they tried to charge me child support. And we had lived in the same house and it's all documented for shit, what, 18 years? She got child support for 18 years of my oldest daughter, which I'm getting changed, and 9 years for my son, who's 9 years old. They're using child support as a weapon. And they do that in Ohio. I didn't even know they did that in Wisconsin. So just be careful who you lay down with. And I know, we were in our 20s or whatever, but a lot of you young brothers, it's not worth it. And I'm not trying to knock any women watching this show, because the women that don't like how things are, you women are excellent. But there are some women that will try to get you in a position. And don't get me wrong, I thank God for my children. And I'm so blessed to have them. I have a grandchild now. I love Kai. With that said, I've paid mortgages and rent for almost as long as I've been alive. And it's sad because they've literally used the system to kind of, where they can work less. So make better decisions. And that's what I'm teaching my son and my 19-year-old and my oldest. She has a husband. She's doing everything, quote unquote, the right way, as people say. Don't get me wrong. If you don't do it, it's not the wrong way. I'm just saying stereotypically. So a lot of this, like Kev, OG, I know y'all done seen it firsthand. It's just so sad because it's all about money. It's never about the kids. It's never about relationships. And kind of subject hop a little bit. As far as the young man or whoever got killed, young Tweezy or whatever, it's just unfortunate because it probably didn't even have to happen. We all from the streets, we understand. It really didn't have to happen. And who can you blame? You can't really blame anybody, because at the end of the day, the people that did it, their parents probably didn't raise them like that. Whoever killed Tweezy, his parents probably didn't raise him like that. It ain't like the Pooh Shiesty thing where they kidnapped Gucci Mane, right? And his father contributed. That's like an anomaly. But the generalizations and everything else, it's just so unfortunate. And that's why, I think that if you don't have a faith in Christ and you don't believe in God, you kind of put yourself at a disadvantage, because I think my life is better because I do believe in God. And when I see these things and these negative stories, I can kind of put a wrap on it and be like, man, it's unfortunate, but we can pray that things will get better. So that's just my 2 cents to what you were saying. It's just, man, it's really unfortunate. That's so sad what happened to Tweezy. How old was he, Kev? Was he 50?
He was 52, I believe. I'm not
52 years old, man. He wasn't even old, man. That's sad.
Sharita Shaw saying there's a grand opening of Landmark Bank. They didn't want to mention where the bodies were because of their grand opening, and they didn't want to impact the business. I guess that was the mix-up why they said that the bodies were somewhere else, right? A says that come from the feminist mindset. The bad thing is they don't even get all the money. Only reason they push that child support is so the court can collect the fees.
And that's part of it. That's not completely wrong. I looked into that. She has a good point. She's right.
Hey man, it's one of those things where we got a system in place, but it's not perfect.
No, you got to have it to an extent. But it's funny because I'll pay the child support, but I still pay for these other bills. Like my ex-wife, literally, like the YMC membership with my kids, she uses it. Their subscriptions in their house, I pay for it. Their internet, I pay for it. And the only reason I can't stop paying for it because my kids use it. And she'll literally tell them, I'm not paying for it.
Well, once again, I think it's unfortunate that it's become so family. It's supposed to be something that's pro-family, but I think it's anti-family. And I will say, unfortunately, there are a lot of people who take advantage of the system.
Yeah.
And they do things like you're talking about. There are some women who weaponize it and who use it for the wrong thing. But there are some fathers who choose to not support their children. And this makes it a necessity. So it's, one good turn deserves another, as they say.
What about the fathers that can't pay? And I always feel bad for them. You know what I was thinking, though, Kev, all jokes aside, what I want to do maybe in the next few years, once I solidify a few other things I'm doing, I want to start a nonprofit to help educate fathers. Because even though you could tell a million times, you could say, don't do this, John, they gonna do it. But when they get in the position to where they don't get raked over the coals by the system, that's actually a business that probably would do pretty well. I probably need to start jotting down some information, because there's nothing out there that exists as far as a preventative measure to stop young men from being taken advantage of due to the the court system. So I don't know, man.
It goes back to when I was saying,
Yeah.
demanding more of elected officials, and this is why we should have a list of asks. If you're gonna say, well, we don't want to use our votes as bargaining chips, this is one of the things that should be added. Like, look,
Yes, sir.
If you want our vote, we need to know, do you have a plan to address any kind of reform for law enforcement or child support reform, things like that, because those are things that have an impact on the community as well. So it's why you can't be so quick to blow off the importance of voting.
Yeah.
Because it's like you are silencing your own voice. The problem is we put the wrong people in office and you have no voice, or at least you have a voice that doesn't matter. So what is this? This is AC says, shit, Ian, if what you are paying ain't good enough, then don't be scared to go obtain custody. That's been happening lately. It's a lot. There's a lot to it when it comes to family court, man. And family law. Look, so the other night I completely fell on my face at the end of the show because I thought it was Wednesday, and I had wished y'all a happy weekend and everything, and it was Monday night.
That was funny though, Kim. It really was. I can tell too. I was like, my brother think it's freaking Wednesday.
I'll make sure I don't do that tonight. This is Sharita. She said, but Kev, would you still vote if the lists of asks are not addressed? I wouldn't vote for that individual.
Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't vote for that individual. Look,
because you can't.
Well, it would be counterproductive. And I tell you, I'm not going to vote for you unless you provide certain things, and you don't provide them. Then we need to make an example of you. Hire your ass, fire your ass. This is why the next mayoral election is going to be so interesting, because of the state of the city and because of the lack of progress we as foundational Black Americans have made in this city. I'm looking to see who's going to be the other candidate, because at this point, I'm not really happy with the way our mayor has performed as our leader. So I'm actually, as a voter, looking to not give him my vote. So, she said, but what if none is? Well, if no one is, though? Well, if you got an election where none of the candidates are speaking to your personal interests, there's something to be said for that amongst the other constituents. And you have to make you have to create some awareness to tell people, look, none of these people are going to serve the greater good for our community, so we shouldn't vote for any of them. Yeah. Once again, it's all about using your voice. If it's something good, use your voice. If it's something bad, use your voice. If there's nothing there at all, use your voice. It all depends on how you choose to use your voice. So I think you just got to create some awareness, and then you've done your job. Ruben Anderson said, can't raise our children on dope money, and child support is a joke.
Oh, do you say you can't raise your children on dope money? I ain't gonna lie. I'm not gonna go into detail. Ruben, that's not necessarily true. I'm just gonna leave it at that. You can if you are part of an organization where you make enough money, you definitely can raise your children on that money.
You're gonna create some situations later on, but I mean, it could be done. I guess
possibly, yes.
Sharita says, but this is through the state that we are in. Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, it's lawmakers. There's you got state senators and congressmen, and you have a governor. You have people. There's checks and balances. You have a voice. It depends on how adamant you are about exercising that voice, because once again, what a lot of other people do is they have lobbyists. They have special interest groups.
And we need more lobbyists.
So why don't we have a group of men who decide to create some lobbyists to start pitching to Madison and say, hey, y'all got to change these laws?
What's the buy-in to be a lobbyist, though? Because it's funny you said that, because that's so accurate, by the way. it's like, what is the buy-in? Like 5-10 million? You
I
know,
don't know. It's a process.
yeah, that's interesting, man. Because if you get together enough people, you can buy an election.
I
Look
just
at
think you
Trump.
gotta start as a man, you have to start by organizing. And
Yeah,
so
like Trump
show
would
me
have
these
never
groups.
won.
Show me these groups of men, and as many as there's a lot of men who child support affects. These
Yeah,
men should be getting together as we speak, and they should be saying, look, we're gonna take this to the state because that's where the laws come from. So Evers should be getting phone calls about this. He should be getting information about this. He should be hearing live testimony about this. I'm just saying, you got a voice, use it, right? And say hit dogs don't holler. So I just feel like you got
I'm
to
reading
make.
the comments. Read the comments, Cal.
Well, she says, this is Ace. He says, old Chevy Cavalier needs to get his shit together.
True.
Sharita Shaw said her Christmas was good with drug money.
Yep.
I don't know. My daddy wasn't no drug dealer, so I don't know.
No, not at all. That's
He said when you're a kid, he said
yes.
he disagrees with you.
Yeah, and it's funny that he said that. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'll address it when you're done.
What up, Jeff Crape, man, down in Texas, man? How you doing? He said, what up, fam? He said, I'm late on the show. It's cool. All the shows are archived on my personal Facebook page.
Yes.
Or on the Outlaw Radio Facebook page, or you can go to the YouTube channel, which is the Peoples with a Z Network. And so you never, you don't have to worry about missing the show. You can always watch them back. But yeah, go ahead, Ian.
Okay, so this is the thing. I'm not saying it's right or I'm not justifying it. And this is for Mr. Anderson, and he's not wrong. You shouldn't be doing it. With that said, I know personally people that have paid for their family to go to college that changed their whole family's trajectory because they drug traffic it, because they did those things. Or you have some people that sold drugs, or some people that were part of a subculture that did mortgage fraud and things like that. I mean, I understand where you're coming from. You're not wrong. You shouldn't do it. With that said, as far as the environment that I come from, we've seen it up close and personal. And, like before I was born or whatever, my mom's 70-something years old. So, I mean, she wouldn't go to jail even explaining some of her stories. But my mom, until I was like 6 years old, my mom sold drugs. That's all she did. She did not work. Not saying it was right. And she'd tell you to this day it's wrong. But I went to the best school. We ended up going to Phillip. And when I got older, I went to Gospel Lutheran. I was cool with Pastor Para and Mr. Martin and all that kind of stuff. Our houses were paid for and everything. And it was all through drug money. So just to be real, like, I don't really like to go into my past or whatever. Like, one of my cousins is Jerry Walker. I live in his house. So far as saying that can't take care of your family, yes, it can. I'm living testament. My sister got her doctorate degree. My daughter is her doctorate. It wasn't necessarily just from regular money. So you can say what you want, and I completely understand where you're coming from. But as far as if you do things a certain way and you do things, quote unquote, correctly, you can pay for a lot with drug money. Doesn't mean it's right. And I'm not justifying it. I'm just being honest. Well, that's the last time I ever talk about that, by the way.
Once again, I stated earlier, behind every great fortune is a great crime.
Yeah.
Usually behind every great crime is an old white dude, right? And so
yes,
over the years, a lot of children, businesses have been built, neighborhoods have been built. Families have been raised off illegal activity and money that came illegally. So, but I don't think he meant it in that regard. I think he meant it from a moral standpoint.
No, he's absolutely right, by the way. Like to chime in. He's absolutely right. I wasn't going at him. I was just,
And I think a lot of times when kids are raised off, fast money or drug money like that, they get a false sense of reality. And so
we did
problems. It creates problems for them down the line. Sharita Shaw said, we are not condoning illegal activity.
No, not at all. It's
wrong. Earl Henning states, he says it best, get your money. And if you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do that, then when your consequences come, then just deal with them.
I was gonna say I can add one more point to that story. My sister, God rest her soul, Denise Bowers, she got murdered by her boyfriend. She used to trap for my family. So she got killed at her apartment. He came over and said, nobody can have you, but she was dealing with somebody. Kev, do you remember the main event?
I do. In the on the
Okay.
5 points.
Okay, so Shag was my sister's fiance. So Shag owned the main event. So she had got killed by this dude named Bojack, and Bojack killed her because he was in love with her, whatever. But she used to sell drugs, is my point. But unfortunately, there was a situation. She was because we lived on 28th and Roosevelt at the time. She was on, oh God, I think it was 27th, and oh my God, it was one of those streets over there. And he went to the door and said, if I can't have you, nobody can. And he shot her. She was involved in the game, and that's what come with it. So I have a different perspective on everything. And the reason I can, a lot of therapy and everything, but the reason I can talk about it now, and I really, like, I've talked to a lot of young people and telling them, like, you can see a lot of things, because I have so many young people that see me and they be like, man, you got a cool car, you got this, you do this. And I explain to them, the best ways to be in life is to be educated, is to live a certain life. Because when I share my story, like, people mouths drop. They be like, oh, damn, I never thought about that. Like, oh my God, you had all of that happen to you? I'm like, yeah. So I understand, like, what we need to do as a community, we need to be educated. And Kev, I swear, every week you talk about it. We need to be educated, no matter what it is. If you want to be a plumber, get educated. We need to buy real estate so you can have some.
No, my point is just whatever you do, just own up to it. So if that's what you do for money, when you get caught, don't try to convince me that it was for a reason that it wasn't. Just be honest about, but okay, so this is what I did, do this, right? Like, so
bro, it's so stupid though.
So this is Ruben. He said, I feel you. I guess I just fail to see any good in profiting and destroying families.
And he's absolutely right. There's no good in none
and
of
it
that.
really doesn't matter how you dress it up. It's still morally wrong and unjustifiable.
Yep, and that's why we talk to our family members to make sure they don't even try to even partake in that nonsense.
I'm with Carrie Walker Jones. She said, "Damn, the main event. Yeah,
that was a while ago.
It's been a while, right?
That's a while.
Points. Yeah, that's crazy.
I was in there at 13 years old.
But no, and Ruben, I get what you're saying, and
he's right though.
I'm just when we start to say what can and can't be done is always subjective. So, there's people whose families, I should say, have been involved in whatever for the longest, and it's just kind of been the way people, they made it. But if you look at those families, they have a multitude of stories like you just gave about somebody being murdered or someone being locked up or someone suffering the consequences for that lifestyle. And that's entirely true. So it's like I say, it ain't really about what you do, it's how you do it.
It's never worth it.
So, anytime you are crossing the line, be ready to, you're a habitual line stepper. Don't be surprised when the line crosses you back, I guess.
And Kevin, what's funny is, and you can always speak on it, I know and everybody watching, it always will. I have 25 friends that have been murdered. It always will. It'll catch up. Trust me when I tell you that.
Oh, I'm already knowing.
You already know. I know you do.
Carrie Walker Jones says a lot of the problems we're dealing with are the offsprings of the offsprings of drugs. Listen, I keep telling people this. My formative years from 10 to 20 were from 1985 to 1995. And this is the pinnacle and then some of the crack epidemic in Black Milwaukee on the north side. So the whole crack drug game, I seen it. And I got family members who participated. I got homeboys. Hell, I had some lightweight involvement myself that I never talk about in public because there ain't nobody business. And I wouldn't tell anybody to get involved in it because I think karma is a bitch in high heels. And I think it's going to come back on you, definitely. And I think that lifestyle is so self-destructive, but you got to understand you are becoming a tool of destruction towards your own people in your own community.
Oh, it's funny you say that though, Kev, because I got a little cousin, right? He been doing this thing for maybe 3 summers. He in his 20s. And I had a conversation with him the other day. We was talking because a lot of them call me, just talking to me about certain things because just where I am, I'm almost 50 years old. I've had I would say if I had to put a number on it, I've only had 2 attempts on my life. So I'm lucky. You know what I'm saying? I'm blessed by God. But when we talk, they say, dog, all this stuff is going on. Woo, woo. What should I do? And the first thing I tell them is, you need to get right with Christ. And the second thing I tell them is, get out the game. It's very, you know what I mean, Kev? It's very simple. It's not complex. I'm not a genius. But the reason they talk to me, because they know my situation. They know Nisi got killed, say no, my brother died or whatever. They know Jerry went to prison, whatever. But we talk about it, and I always tell them a certain thing. So I got a cousin right now, dude. He, for the last two to 3 years, he was kind of involved in some trafficking shit. That nigga just gave it up. Literally, he passed. I mean, it's not cool, but he passed on his operations to someone else. And I told him, I was like, don't pass your operation to someone else. I said, what you need to do is kind of end what you're doing, because you beat the system. So if you can beat the system, you know what I'm saying, and you can get to this point, y'all can do something legally. If you take the mentality that you have right now, you can just turn to something legally. So he's working on it right now. And I had this conversation with him about 2 weeks ago. And it kind of goes back to what you were saying. Like, there is no end game with any of this. You're going to go to prison or you're going to die. There's no other way to kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people kind of dress things up and like music makes shit seem cool. No, when you sell drugs and everything, and I can attest to it, you're going to eventually have to put yourself in a position where you're going to fail. It's going to happen. I don't care who you are, because 99% of the people doing it, you're going to lose. So
I don't want to preach to anyone. I'll just say this.
No, I got you.
Come up with a plan. And I can,
exit strategy.
When I start to talk to someone who's involved in that life, the first thing I say is, you need to figure out a plan so you can transition. Transition is a powerful word.
Yes.
There are ways for you to kind of transition into a different direction. But sometimes what you've done in the past is destined to come back no matter what you do. You can run, but you can't hide. So it's all about whether or not you want to hold it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you just got to be prepared to hold that L for the things that you've done that could come back to haunt you. So, yeah, I don't, anybody, I would say, hey man, let's try to create some options for yourself so you won't have to continue down this path and stay in this lifestyle, because it is hell to pay.
It's a no-win though, Kev. And I be trying to explain to these young niggas, dog, it's a no-win. And the reason, like my homeboy, that coach or whatever, like he, when we were younger, he was quote unquote my number 2. Like, we literally lived it. And it's so many kids that literally saw what we were doing. And it's like, when we talk about it, like, niggas really be kind of like, okay, I see what you're saying, dog. We've diverted so many young people to like selling dope and shit like that. It just ain't worth it. Like, you better off, like, let's just say you get a job at Home Depot, get a job at McDonald's, you know what I'm saying? Get you some classes. Even if, like, say you go to MATC, you can get you a trade. And once you get your trade, you'll make the same money that you would get, because if you start selling dope, you're going to get 8 balls. You know what I'm saying? You'll get something like that. Before you can kind of flip that, you kind of in between. So you taking a risk just selling a little bit of crack, or, whatever they do now. I'm old. I don't know what they do now. But you can kind of like, you risking whatever your freedom is for like a few $100s. So let's just say you wanted to be a plumber or an electrician. You go to school, you boom, 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 you pass the test and do everything else. You get out of school, you're making 48 G's a year. Easy work. If you selling dope, you might get 48 G's a year, and you might not work the amount of hours, but you taking like wild risk. You know what I'm saying? You go to school, you be an electrician, you be a plumber, you good. So we've been doing a lot of that, dog. Like, that's something we've really focused on. It's going pretty well. I got a lot of cousins that don't want to sell drugs anymore.
Oh, hindsight is 20/20. So it's always easy to look back and say what you shouldn't do or shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
I never know what circumstances a person is dealing with. So I try to keep my mouth out their business.
Yeah.
And that's why I say it's about, if you're in it, look for a solution. You got to look for a way out. You got to learn what the word transition means.
Exactly.
A says, shit, sorry to say that, Ian, your boy, even though he's leaving that life now, he's a liability because he knows too many people's business. But once again, you don't know what he's done or what his involvement has been. So
Yeah.
sometimes it might be time to deal with that. It might come back years from now. You might
It's
say,
always gonna come back though, bro. Always.
never know.
Yep.
So Ruben said, I'm all about beating the system because the system can be beat. But the casualties such as such an evil, he said, but the casualties, such an evil game is shocking to a universal sense of justice. Yeah, I'm not proud of all the things that all the decisions I made as a young man to get where I wanted to go and to deal with situations I was faced with. But I did always look for a way to change the direction of where I was going. So I'm not gonna sit up now and be, beating myself to death because I zigged in a couple places I should have zagged. It is what it is, man. You gotta always be thinking about tomorrow. And that's what I tell young people, because it's gonna come faster than you know. It's Earl Henning. He says, status is not the same as 20 years ago. Getting a job is better. Yeah, well, for
Yep.
some people, there's some youngsters who in this game who be like, why would I stop? Why would I not live this life? This is the lifestyle. So
I was gonna say we could have a different show on that too, because if they don't have like as far as dress to go to an interview, you're absolutely right. They like, well, fuck it. I'm gonna go ahead. Somebody gonna flip me maybe an ounce. And you know how old niggas is, Kev. You from the hood. Like, for instance, and oh God, I don't want to go into too deep. I'll shut up for like a minute afterwards. But like, say I was hustling or whatever, I see a young nigga, I'm gonna give him a ball. I'm be like, you know what I'm saying? Give me like 200 off of every ball. Boom, boom, boom. We flip it. He do his thing and he start building his own clientele. He gets to the point to where he start buying ounces. Then he start buying quarter bricks. Then he start buying pounds. That's how the shit works. So when they get to a certain point, they just be like, then they become businessmen. Then they don't need you. And then when they don't need you, they get to the point where they be like, man, they too deep in it to where it's like, man, you can try to talk to them, but it don't matter. They've gotten to the game to where, you know what I'm saying? They didn't got their feet wet. They don't care no more. And that's why, and it's like what Ruben was saying, you don't even want these young men to even experience that, because you know how it is, Kev. Like, you get a motherfucker that, like, soon as he get a ball, he flip it, he make a few dollars, he get him a pair of Jordans, it's over. You know how that go.
yeah. Ruben says it's more than just taking risks in order to amass a lot of money. It's about the shattered lives you leave in your pursuit of riches. That's what I'm saying. Like, the damage you're doing to your community is,
yeah, you are.
It's tremendous. And the damage that you do to people get victimized in that game a lot. There's no such thing as a victimless crime. Kerry Walker said it's the selfishness of the drug era of eat or be eaten that caused these kids to hustle on both sides. On the dealer side, trying to have what's lost. On the addiction side, survival. That mixed with social media and everybody wanting by any means necessary, we have created a culture of children that is either getting it or trying to prove they have it and don't. Yeah, materialistic shit is always detrimental. He said, that's all bad. That's all bad. My bad, your phone messed up. But my point is, you can hustle all you want to and get as much money as you want and send your kids to college, but it doesn't mean it erase all the lives destroyed on your way to the top. Yeah, it's
no,
like
no. I agree. It's just at the end of the day, like, as far as some of the things, I wake up and I ain't gonna lie, sometimes at night I can't sleep because I think about some of the things that I've been through and some of the things that my families have done. And I've had meetings at my house and just the things I've been through. It's fucked up. And I don't even never really talk about it. I don't post about that shit. But when we do Outlaw Radio, I just keep it 100. It's kind of like, yeah, I feel bad. And if you don't feel bad, you're not a Christian. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try so hard now to just kind of steer people away from trying to do crime and all that shit. There's nothing good about selling drugs. doing fraud or anything along those lines, man, because you putting yourself at risk. You can put yourself in a jail cell forever when you could just go ahead, get some education, do something different. You don't got to do that. It's not cool to be a gangster. Like all this dumb shit motherfuckers think it is. Like, dog, I be listening to music sometimes and I be laughing because I be like, come on, man. Y'all motherfuckers think this shit is cool. The rapper that's rapping, he got his kids in a private school, like me. You know what I'm saying? I had my kids in a private school. So, yeah, man, it's unfortunate. And that's like I always say, I pray to God and I repent for the things that I've done because I'm not perfect. I don't glamorize anything or whatever, but I'm not a perfect person. I just thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for forgiving me for some of the things that I've done. So that's it. Kev, did you freeze? Oh, you were doing something. Okay, I thought you froze.
Earl Henning says, sounds like a baller. This is Sarita saying, am I getting sleepy because I'm missing comments? You know what? I don't always read every comment because it can get kind of redundant for me, and
yeah,
it's always a lot of comments, right? So I don't always read them. She said, "Get up, bro. I'm not sleepy at all. I'm not sleepy at all."
I saw you. I was like, I'm talking and shit. I'm like, Kev, I'm sorry. That's why I be trying to shut up sometimes. Man, I be talking too much.
Yeah, but the conversation about trying to tell people what to do bores me because I think people.
Yeah, man, we should never do that. Like everybody got their own.
Everybody got to make their own decision. So just like I said, just be ready to deal with the consequences of your decision. So if that's been your life, if that's been how you've been getting it, then when some shit happens, don't look around and, well, why me? You should already know.
Do you want to do a show on snitching? Because that'll actually be interesting because I'm with you on that. Like, nigga, you made $100,000 in the past year and a half. Now when the feds come at you, you want to say, oh, Kev did this. Nah, nigga, don't be trying to tell on me now. Because then you'll be mad. You'll be mad at me when I drop the bag for like 30 or 40K.
I don't get involved in conversations about that because once again, that's somebody else's business. So, and I'm not a criminal. I'm not involved with nothing. So, feds come get me. They just practicing because I ain't got shit. I don't.
I'm saying hypothetically. I was using you as an example. Sorry.
I didn't nod off. I probably was looking down at my phone. This is Sharif. She said I nodded off. I probably was looking down at my phone reading something. I was trying to.
I was going too far into it. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't nod off. I think we would have noticed if I was asleep. Somebody would have said.
I thought you were because I didn't see no movement. I was like, shit.
I was not asleep. Trust me. I was not asleep.
I was like, I'm fucking talking too much. I apologize. Because when I go on them tangents, I be feeling bad. Because I be trying to educate. Because everybody don't sell dope. Everybody ain't never been in that position and seen, that side of criminality. So, like, when we explain it, I feel bad because I'd be like, okay, let me shut up after a while.
And then sometimes the shit comes off like a cheap PSA, too. So I don't like start to tell nightmare stories about, I knew this dude who had 50,000 keys. And he was making $9 million a week, and then he accidentally shot somebody, and now he's sitting on death row. Like,
bro, I'll be trying to shut the fuck up too because I'd be like, man, like whatever, and like I'll be thinking about Jerry, and it's funny because I think Jerry's about to get paroled. I just seen something on Facebook, and then Duty, my cousin, like his first cousin, Duty called me.
Is it flooding, Earl? He said Lake Drive is now on 35th and Center Street. I'm seeing people on Facebook saying that it's flooding right now. It's flooding in some areas of the city, so it's crazy. I'm going to get out of here. I did want to talk about 56-year-old Nia Long posing for Playboy.
Shut up. That happened?
It's about to. This is what the news.
No, Nia Long, fine chocolate ass did not fucking pose for.
Once again, it's a different mentality we live in today, and people are doing things
Monday.
That some people might be. I don't know. Whenever it comes out, I think. I'm
saying we're gonna talk about it Monday or no?
I don't know. Whenever it's released, I don't think the pictures are released yet. They would have been all over.
Yeah, that's not good. She's trying to get attention. That's another subject. We'll talk about.
There's a lot of people who do things and make decisions, and the other people may not agree with them. I think nowadays.
Hold up. KD, you only at 219. Give me like 1 minute how you feel about it. I'm just curious.
Who is KD? You talking to me?
Yes. I'm
said
sorry,
KD.
KB. I say KD. I was saying about a basketball player. Dog, tell me like 1 minute how you feel about that. Because I ain't gonna lie, when it comes to Nia, it's kind of weird.
I think it's her body and I think it's her career, and she can choose to do whatever it is that she wants to do. My point to that is we live in an age and a time where people make decisions and they have to live with the consequences. So I believe she has a teenage son. If this is what she wants to do for a long time, we've held her in high regard in the Black community as one of our most talented, one of our most beautiful Black actresses. And I'm not approved, so I'm not against a woman saying, "Hey, I'm going to show my body." I'm not against that, and I don't think it makes her a whore or a slut or
no, not at all.
I don't think it's a negative thing. I'm just glad she didn't do it when I was 17 or 16.
Shut up. KB, can I add? Because you done? Can I add?
Hold on.
Okay.
I just this might be at an advanced age. This might be something that a lot of people disagree with, but I think it's her legacy. She's worked all these years to establish herself. And if this is how she wants to put a stamp on it, hey, more power to her. I think as long as she's not being conned into it or forced into it, and this is what she's choosing to do, it's all gravy.
Can I add?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, Miss Nia Long. First and foremost, I'd like to say that you are a beautiful woman. And if you'd like to, contribute to the internet in that regard, I am going to contribute in clicking your link. That's it.
I'm sure you're not alone because it'll be some of the same people.
Dog, she's so fine. Kev, she was fine on Friday.
Be the same ones who are blowing up the internet, people who talk down on it. So that's what I'm saying. I don't get into telling people what to do.
Kev, she was so fine on Friday, bro. Oh my God, I love Nia Long. She was so fine on Friday, and I saw some of the things. Remember when she was dating the coach of the Celtics and all the other stuff was happening? Dude, they would show little pictures of her, far as in their life, because I think they have a child or something, even a stepchild. I was like, bro, she is so freaking gorgeous. Man, yeah. So whatever she do, it don't even matter. I'm with you, dog. It don't even matter. Nope.
Right. And there's been a lot of actresses over the years.
Whatever.
Famous celebrities, women who've chosen to go into Playboy and
she gorgeous.
So we'll see. It's her choice, it's her decision.
I'm gonna watch.
Before we get out of here, I wanted to reinforce how important it is that we start to ask ourselves that question that I asked everybody. You go up to a Black person and you ask them, do you love Black people? Sometimes it's not enough to just love yourself. I think we're in a mentality where it's just all about self. It's all about self. He said the call in isn't accepting a call. You must got the wrong phone number because my line is open. We had Dion on the line.
Dog.
We had Dion on the line. It's 262-202-5131. I don't know. That must be on your end. So, but yeah, I just think it's important that people need to understand that sometimes it's not just enough to love yourself. You got to love other people around you. And so when it comes to our people, I would say, yeah, you're a Black person, but do you love Black people? Or are you one of those people who wants to be divisive and say, well, they niggas and I'm Black, so I don't love them or I don't care about them?
That's a good point that you brought up, bro, because so many people I've heard on that level, I've actually heard that. It's funny you say that, not being funny though, Kev. I've heard people say that. I'm a Black person. I'm not a nigga. Dude, when they look at you, you a nigga. What are you talking about? I think
we just have to be aware of things that come around that are divisive because we'll always find a way to divide ourselves. Sarita Saw said, I love Black people. I can say I love Black people too, right? And I take the good with the bad, right? I think this is Ruben on the line. Ruben, you on the line. What's on your mind?
Going down the I just I had to just get on the bed and call in, man. I'm trying to follow the brother, and I guess I can't. But I guess to one point here, first of all, for me to be offended by anything, I got to care about what you think. So I'm not moved by a lot of things, to say. I think that me and the brother speak the same language in a sense. So I'm just coming back to that, but I just didn't understand where he was coming from. And it seems to be it bothered me so much that I needed to call in and get some clarity from him because I want to know who he is. I've never seen him. I'm so used to you and the brother being there all the time. Ari, I think that is here, but and I ain't used to hearing this. But I guess my question is, where are you coming from? Because I heard you say I come from, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I heard you give that acknowledgement out, but then I heard you go somewhere else with it right away. And I'm just trying to figure out where you're coming from and what do you mean? How these people who have been in the game could even have bragging rights to say that they have accomplished anything in truth when so many lives were lost behind it. So I just didn't understand your reasoning behind that. Not even what you said made any sense to me. Just didn't touch me. I'm not trying to diminish, what you're saying and everything, but at the end of the day, I just wanted to just say this to you that every life matters, and what we do on our way to the top, and the lives that we scatter, and we leave beneath us, that's something we have to give an account to, since you did mention your Lord and Savior. And I didn't hear in your conversation where I guess I'm just floored by it because it just really didn't make any sense to me. And I guess I don't understand it because I just don't come from that. I guess I come from more of a, that you got to love your people above everything else. And I can never glorify something that I know is contrary to what God's word says. So I was just kind of taken back by your statement. So I don't know you, but I like to get to know more about you. But I feel like I'm not there to help you get that.
That's understandable.
You could hear him, okay? Because he sounds kind of
yeah. Because I know I walked off for a second. This is the thing.
Yeah.
Far as my family specifically, and unfortunately, one of my family members is one of the biggest drug dealers in the history of Milwaukee. I don't glorify none of it. What I'm saying is, like when you say boom, 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 it's all bad. Everything that was bad didn't come from it. Like my sister's education, my daughter's education, like none of it. That wasn't bad. The actions were bad, and that's one of the things that I do. I kind of talk about it, be like, this is bad, don't do it or whatever. I don't glorify it. I don't think none of that shit is cool. Like my sister got killed, my brother died. I got over 23 friends that then got murdered. Ain't none of that shit cool. So my thing is, the reason I bring it up, the only thing I'm saying about it is, even though it's bad, you can get some good from it. Like I'm good. Like right now, I don't sell drugs. I'm not a drug trafficker. I'm not like my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like I employ people, and it's all legal, and it's all legal business. We work in mental health with the quote unquote lowest of the low people that need the most help, because that's where our need was in the community. I tell people all the time, like, don't be doing that shit. That's why, like, I laugh at rappers and motherfuckers that be talking that shit. And even the dude they used to call the show, that used to kind of talk, I'm not gonna say his name, they used to kind of talk tough. I be like, nigga, like the dude know me. So like I done met him, like he know what time it is. Like all that tough talk, he knows where I come from. So it was kind of an adjustment even to do the show, because I'm like, I don't want to say nothing bad. I actually had to talk to one of my lawyers to be like, is it a good idea? Because I don't want to get nobody in trouble.
Okay. And let me, and not to cut you off, but let me ask you, where are you from?
I'm from Milwaukee, 28th and Meineke. My first house was on 13th and Capitol.
Okay, I'm originally off of 24th Place in Brown. Originally, all my family, everything
So
like
that. So you remember when you officer, what's his name? The officer that got killed, that Kirk killed. He family too. I think his name was William Brown, the officer that was going through there who got shot. He said he listened to Tupac Soldier Story and got shot. he got amped up by it. Do you remember that or no?
No, I don't recall that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there was an
Yeah, I just wanted
officer.
to.
Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
officer on 24th and Brown, where you live or where you
Oh,
came
you
from.
talking about when he was in the van? You talking about the guy in the van when he
Yeah.
got hit from behind the house and shot him through the van, the young boy?
No, Kurt. It's funny because my cousin Johan, he used to be with an organization called BMF.
Yeah.
Most people might not know who it is, but the thing is, though, like Kurt said, he listened to Soldier Story like 5 times, and then he said he killed. He said he killed a police officer, William Robertson, I think his name. Yeah, so that happened over where you live.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, not to cut you off on that. I guess I just wanted to try to get an answer from you. And where do you see things going in your mind with all your experience and everything that you have gone through in your life? And my condolences to you for the people that who have gotten killed in your life. I've suffered so many. Seem like every year, 5 or 6 in my life, so I can understand it. So I can understand that. So, but what are your thoughts about changing the narrative in Milwaukee? What do you think needs to happen? I mean, just with all of your experience in that, what can you tell me about that?
The narrative, what has to change is like what Kevin always talks about, and this is why I always say Outlaw Radio is so important. First and foremost, it has to start first on an economic level. So if it was me, just to kind of just break it down. So this is what I would do. First and foremost, we have tax breaks for anyone that can come up with a business plan, right? And if you want to trade information afterwards, I think we should kind of talk. So what we should do is give tax breaks to anybody that's trying to go ahead and do any kind of businesses in the inner city. So the first thing we would have to do, Ruben, is how the neighborhoods are. Like I grew up on 20th and Meineke, right? So you have a corner store. We need to first and foremost buy that store that's on the corner. Whether it's a store or not, or it's a house, we need to buy it. That's something, all jokes aside, brother, I would do tomorrow. So we need to go ahead and buy that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this, okay? Because there are so many people, right, who have, way before they got ready to, I don't mean to take this over, Kevin. I just want to talk to them for a few minutes. But long before a lot of these brothers get ready to take their place up the hill, right? There's somebody in their environment telling them that you can't do this and that you can't do that, right? So it's by no accident that a large portion of men, African American males in particular, they find their school and the need to achieve is not from them. Check this out now, right? They already been wounded, right? So how can you take a person who is already suffering from some type of mental illness or some form of brokenness and say, okay, well, here's a job. Go ahead and work it and support your family. I don't think that that'll ever happen. I don't think that he'll ever be focused like that. So we have to address the man. So while we're talking, I'm thinking more, I don't know how you feel about it, but more therapeutic institutions aimed at reparenting and re-educating people emotionally. These things run by Black people. I don't know how you feel about that before you throw the economics in there. Well, we got to have this. No, we don't need all of that. We got too many people out there already getting the bread from the church, the storehouse, or whatever they got to bring it from. Bring it to the table, I would think, right? So that we can get it right. But I don't think that getting a job and economics and stuff is really important.
The thing is, though, like everything you said, it's funny you say that because I got like multiple cousins that went through that shit. I think the first start is the corner store, because if you can get the corner store, the first thing to where you can have groceries, to where you have a store owner, because honestly, the reason I got to the point to where I got to in life, though, Ruben, is literally, dog, is because there was a guy. His name is. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
I could build a factory or building bigger than, say the Sears Tower or whatever, and I can do all this stuff and have all these means to employ, to get employees for this place. But why do I want dysfunctional people working for me? Can I first get my house together? Well, can we get our house together though first, and then talk about, because the city needs to be healed. First of all, we got to learn to trust each other and love each other, even respect each other, right? So why don't we get that together before we start talking about, well, money is needed to come and do that. Let's see what you do without your money. Let's see
You
how
know
well you
what's funny?
perform
We
in your
need to
face
chop.
pop without
We
your
actually
money.
need
I'm
to
just
chop
saying,
it
go
up
ahead.
after the show because you
Yeah.
making some
But
really, really, really good points.
well, I don't want to take up Kevin's show, but I just wanted to ask you a few
No,
questions,
that's
because I really
that's
didn't know,
good.
who you are, but I don't want to take over the show. And Kevin, I really appreciate you, man. I'm sorry I didn't get an opportunity to talk to you last week. I was just super tired, but if you ever want to get into that game, and talk about, what's really been going on in Milwaukee, we can really get into that. There's a lot of information shifting out that I think that people need to know. And so we can get into that. But other than that, I want to listen to the show, man, and finish enjoying you for the rest of the night, Kevin. I really appreciate you guys.
It's all good. I just wanted to finish to go back to my comment section. Ruben, it's all good. I ain't tripping. You always said always a positive.
Ruben, the man, bro. I like what he was saying.
It's all good.
All right.
All right,
bro. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a good night. I'm gonna keep listening, though.
Oh, right, you too, bro. Hey, Ruben, DM me if you can, bro. We need to talk.
Hey, my number open, man. Just hit me up, inbox me. I got you. Just put me.
All right, homie. Yeah, I will after we done because you actually gave me an idea. Okay, cool.
Okay, for sure, man. You have a good night, man.
All right. God bless, dog. Thank you.
I wanted
to go back to the chat room because Kerry Walker Jones made a funny comment. She said, "Shit, if I have a Playboy body at 60, and Playboy want to pay me," she said, "my damn kids better cover their eyes. It's on." Hey, and I wouldn't be mad at you. Do what you got to do, Carrie. This is Sharita. She says it's there. You see a lot of it in corporate America where blacks can't talk to each other. She was talking about Ruben sounded muffled. At first he did. Start with the chief compliant. This is her responding to Ruben. Start with the chief compliant. Agree, Ruben Anderson. She said groceries is not the primary diagnosis. I speak about poverty being a determining factor of our community because when Milwaukee was really a positive place for black people, we had the highest standard of living for black people in this country due to a middle class that was formed simply by the fact that there were family sustaining jobs available. So people were able to go straight from high school to a job that made enough to raise a family off of. A lot of these factories and stuff that are long gone that were all throughout the community in Milwaukee built neighborhoods. And so you have families who were able to come and buy a home and, he was able to raise his children. Now, I'm not saying that money is the be all end all, but I definitely think if you start to work on the poverty has a crazy, crazy effect on a lot of things. It ain't really just about not having a nice car or having jewelry or having nice clothes. It's about not having the right food or having parents who can't take off work to go and check on their children and invest in their children's education. I think a lot of times when you start to attack poverty, those kinds of things, the ability to just raise your family improves. So that's why I say it's financial to a certain degree, because I do think poverty is such a determining factor with crime. But I tell you what I won't do. I won't drop the ball this week because this is Wednesday and we won't be back until Monday. So I want to say to my people, I appreciate y'all for listening to the show. I appreciate y'all for calling in and sharing the show. Share the show. Share the show. Share the show. Share the show. We'll be back Monday. I'm happy that we were able to get back on some sort of regular schedule again, as I had to continue getting back to my normal patterns. But it's good to be back on Outlaw Radio, man. So, Ian, I hope you have a good weekend.
Yes, sir.
My people, keep your head on the swivel, man. Be safe out here. Y'all watch yourself. And like I said, I think it's the main point from this show is it's okay to love yourself. That's fine, dandy, and required. But at some point, you got to start to love other people. And it has to spread to your whole community, not just yourself. So with that said, man, just remember this. If your criticism of the community outweighs your contribution to it, you're probably a coon. I'll see y'all Monday, man. Peace and love.
Absolute truth. All jokes aside, absolute truth. All right, Kev, I'll see you Monday.